let's go. Put it in motion, baby, we're going faster, 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 faster. Seizing the moment, baby, keep going faster, 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 faster. Speed up, make that thing rev. Foot on the gas till you got nothing left. Let's drive to the top of the mountain and see the view. Let's vibe, looking back on the journey, just me and you. Ain't nobody wanna go slow. Yeah, I was chilling in the past, I was solo. Now that I got you in my life, I'm like, go, go. I be living for the thrill of it, whoa, whoa. I hear you like to gamble. Let's take the road, let's travel. No, I'm a lot to handle, but I wanna go fast with you. Think we could go the distance, although I know we're different. Together we both fit it, so I wanna go fast with you. Put it in motion, baby, we're going faster, 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 faster. Seizing the moment, baby, keep going faster, 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 faster. It's like they never even seen us, and nothing will ever get in between us. I'ma ride by your side every season, and if anyone try to stop us, we just speed up. Yeah, always keep it at 100. Top down, pretty face, so sun-kissed. Know it's scary, but I swear I really love this. Big shades on, summertime in London. I hear you like to gamble. Let's take the road, let's travel. No, I'm a lot to handle, but I wanna go fast with you. Think we could go the distance, although I know we're different. Together we both fit in, so I wanna go fast with you. Put it in motion, baby, we're going faster, 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 faster. Seizing the moment, baby, keep going faster, 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 faster. Put it in motion, baby, we're going faster, 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 faster. Seizing the moment, baby, keep
Whatever the problem, we'll solve them. Make it through together, it'll be all love, and it's all good. And it's all good. Feel like I'm the big dog, been killing it since tip-off. Come with it or stay home, the people gon' feel ripped off. It's only major leaguers in the office. If you giving half of an effort around the rest of us, you'll make it awkward. I'm about that action, not the one you talk with. You better hope I'm not the one your coach gon' have you out here really guarding. It took a lot for me to get here, but I have arrived. I really made it and the haters be looking surprised. Been down before, but now I'm better than I've ever been. Through all adversity, I saw them right now at the whatever the problem, we'll solve them. Make it through together, it'll be all love, and it's all good. Okay. They say pressure makes diamonds. That's what I align with, cause the journey I've been climbing is riddled with perfect timing. I'm in a different mode when I be trying to get it. To even get a chance to compete is a form of winning. I mean, what's the point of playing if we ain't striving for greatness? I feel a sense of pride with every play that I'm making. To the top of the world when I came from the basement. Boy, I'm the one and not the two, so don't get it mistaken.
Don't stop. Don't stop, gotta get it going. Keep it moving, won't stop. Rhythm overflowing. Don't stop, gotta get it going. Keep it moving, won't stop. Rhythm overflowing. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
Snapdragon Pro Series. It's season 6 of Call of Duty Mobile, and we're kicking things off on stream today with our EU region in our open finals, which means today we will whittle down our top 16 teams to the top 8 in the region, who of course will then move on to the next stage of the competition, which is our challenge season. It's going to be another amazing year of Call of Duty Mobile, and I cannot wait to get into all of it. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I am so happy to be back with you all as your host. But of course, let's get our casters in here as well. We're kicking things off today with Infinity and Proper. Guys, we're back. How are you feeling right now, Brody? This is exciting.
So excited, mate. Couldn't be happy to back Call of Duty Mobile. What a great way to start off 2025. It feels like it's been so long since I last see you guys, which normally wouldn't be a good thing, but actually I'm feeling quite sentimental about it. So happy to have you guys back.
He's happy now that we're here, Proper. How are you feeling, though? I mean, back for another year of Call of Duty Mobile this time.
I was about to say the same thing. I mean, it almost feels like yesterday all of us were just hanging out, kicking it in Atlanta, just looking at that Mercedes-Benz Stadium, sitting there. Brody was like casting spells with like a hood over top of his head or something. It was nuts. It feels like yesterday, but it feels good to be back for another of these SPS seasons again. A lot to answer for as an entire nation, I will say that much, for Europe. So excited to get this one underway.
Yeah, definitely quite a few storylines that we'll be weaving through everything as we start here today until we get to champs at the end of the year. But if you're wondering what that means throughout the year, let's take a look at our calendar. Obviously, I mentioned it right now. We're currently in our open qualifiers, which will then finalize in our open finals here this weekend. Then we move to the challenge season. You guys should be familiar with how all of that works. 4 weeks of competition where those top 8 teams that I was talking about will then get whittled down again to top 4. We've got championship weekend there in April at the end of all of this. And Brody, this is a format everybody should be pretty familiar with.
Yeah, this is more or less the same format that we had last season, right? You know, we're already kind of at this point here, open finals. Before we got to this point, we had those open qualifiers where the top 128 teams made it all the way through to this stage of the competition. When we get past this point, though, from open finals, we're going to have our 8 teams after this weekend in challenge season, and that's where things get interesting. We have those 2 GSL-style groups of 4 teams, and only 2 from each group will make it to challenge finals to fight it out for the big amount of dough. So it's the same format everyone knows and loves. If you were familiar with the last couple of seasons of SPS, you'll be familiar with this one.
Yeah, everybody, including the players, should know how all of this works, which means they also should not be strangers to the fact that even though we're pretty early on in the ecosystem, there's still some money on the line here for our open finals. Proper, a little bit to kind of kick things off as our teams continue moving on through the competition.
Yeah, again, I mean, when it all comes down to the end of this double elimination bracket, top 8 is where you want to be so that you can go into the next echelon like we were talking about. But yes, the prize pool is something to kind of bolster your pockets, kind of help things out, make sure that you get a good enough of your little thimble so that way you're not sliding all over the place for the upcoming finals. Very, very good. That first through 4th does end up getting those $500, $350 for 5th through 8th. And then, of course, if you don't make it to the next stage, you still get a little bit of extra change in your back pocket.
Yeah, you know, a little bit extra cash to go home with on both sides of our top 8 and bottom 8 here. But we'll take a look at our bracket, see which teams are fighting for those spots. And this is something we like to talk about a lot because we're so early on in the year that when we take a look at this bracket here, our teams in the upper bracket and our teams in the lower bracket, it's an opportunity for some of our unknown players, newer squads here to Call of Duty Mobile to make a name for themselves, while of course having some recognizable faces in here as well, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about these open finals brackets, right, is always the case that there's no seeding coming into these tournaments, right? So what's happened in the past doesn't affect anything coming to these qualifiers. It's totally randomized where you end out in the bracket. And that gives a lot of teams that otherwise wouldn't get the chance to sign an opportunity to do so in this bracket. So you're going to see situations where top teams are going to face one another for qualification spots. Hint, hint, there's going to be one tomorrow, I think it is, with Animus versus Queens. And of course, there's going to be situations where there's going to be players and teams you guys haven't heard of before having a chance to go up against the best of the best for a spot in the Snapdragon Pro Series. So I absolutely love this format. There are a number of teams that I can't wait to get to know today.
Yeah, and one notable thing, so you'll see there in that lower bracket is, of course, exclusive, a team that we've talked about a lot. But Brody, you were just hinting at it. Let's talk about top teams facing off against each other. Okay, we have at the top Animus against Queens. I want to talk about Queens for a second here, Proper, because they've got some history that we're going to be paying attention to moving through the competition.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I mean, when it comes to Queens in general, you're going to have some names that you might have seen come around at least so often, but maybe not making the same amount of impact. But yeah, exclusive, they find themselves down in the lower bracket. To Brody's point, everything is RNG when it comes down to these open finals. So exclusive actually had the unfortunate mishap of having to go up against Queens, and I'm sure Animus probably sitting there and be like, hold on a second, now we got to prepare for ourselves when it comes down to Queens, because they handed Exclusive a pretty hard 2-0, and I think Exclusive got that wake-up call. Again, household names for that roster of Exclusive. We expect them to still qualify, but through the lower bracket, I think that Animus might get shaken up ever so slightly. This is that route that Exclusive does have to take for themselves if they do want to find themselves to be qualified. They've been doing it well so far. It's just making sure that it's all consistent before we go to the next stage.
Yeah, definitely a more stressful road now for Exclusive, as they have to win everything if they want to make their way through to be qualified for that challenge. What the lower bracket is going to be looking like.
Yeah, again, Exclusive do definitely have to kind of win everything at this stage in the competition. I wouldn't be surprised if they do manage to get through with ease past this point. I don't think they're likely to face another roster like Queens or Animus before getting to that qualification matchup. So yeah, Exclusive should be all right. But again, you know, the beauty of these competitions with players and teams you might not have heard of before is there is always the chance for a dark horse to come out of nowhere and pull off an upset. And that could well happen.
And people will also find as we move through some of these matches that even if it's a team name you guys might not recognize at home, often there are players that we've seen in seasons past in SPS. So as we move through the competition, you'll start to kind of put those pieces together and kind of see where our teams and players are going to be shaking out. But we've talked about that bracket. If you guys are wondering how we're going to be moving through EU for our open finals, this is what we have on the docket here today. We just talked about it. Exclusive versus Aptoz will be the first match of the day, and then we'll move down through Vanquish versus Team Naikfuria and No Name versus Hexad, and then continuing on from there. 4 matches a day, though. That's the thing. We've got 4 matches and 3 days of this proper, so this is just the first of many for everyone at home to come back and watch.
And they're all best of 5s as well, so you have at least that extra I guess fallback if you do lose like maps 1 and 2. At least that reverse might end up being there, but it's still vetoes, so you know that you're going to be going up against the team's best odds to be able to put themselves in a position to be able to qualify for the next stage.
Now, in order to qualify for the next stage, they're going to have to obviously do well in their best of 5s. And one thing that we do every single season is we change the maps up on our players. We do keep a couple of the same tried and true ones, but Brody, we've decided to rotate some things through here.
Yeah, so you guys can see at the bottom there kind of the maps that have changed. There's been a couple of switch arounds, maps changing from one game mode to another. Standoff is a noble example. Previously, I believe it was played in Search and Destroy. This season, it's moved into a hotbar map, or excuse me, vice versa. But you know, there's a couple of changes around. I think the key thing here, though, you're looking at maps that are no longer in the map set, such as Hackney Yard, Hardpoint. That is now gone. Slums is now back into the rotation. I'm so sad about it, honestly. I think the key thing for me, though, is going to be the big changes in control. I think a lot of people wanted to see Seaside and Arsenal control out of the rotation. That has now happened. The interesting thing, I think, is going to be coming into the season, what the reception to be, the replacement maps will be looking like, because Takeoff control and Crossfire control are replacing those maps in the control map pool. And I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of what the reception of those maps does look like, because I don't think they play all that differently, is what I've heard.
No, they don't. Everybody wanted to move away from the Arsenal control because of the spawn trap. Crossfire will be the same. Trust me, you'll probably end up seeing a handful of times. I want Retribution for Seaside. I mean, Seaside control is just such a staple map mode combination, except for 5v5, but it is what it is. I'm more sad that we don't get Express anymore. I've been trying to keep a tally every single time I do one of these events of how many bullet train kills we get. We didn't get any when it comes down to the LAN that we had in Atlanta. I'm kind of upset, but I'll be patient for its triumphant return.
So that literally was what I was going to ask you about, so I'm glad that you answered that for me here proper. And now that we've explained everything to everybody at home, we can start talking about our first match. You saw it there on the schedule. The veto should be ready. Those picks and bans coming through here. And the question was, will we get anything new, or players going to be sticking with what they're more comfortable with here to kick things off, Brody? Starting off on Hacienda Hardpoint.
Yeah, it was a conversation we had, right, was that, you know, I feel like we're going to get in a lot of situations here where players just pick the maps they've been comfortable with. Again, I think Hacienda has to have been like a 60-70% hardpoint map pick from every series across Call of Duty Mobile for the last couple of seasons of SPS. I'm not surprised that it's here, and that is the case for the rest of this best of 5 as well. It has to be said, like Tunisia, Summit, Kurahana, these are all maps that have been in the map pool previously. The only new addition here, and this is going to happen a couple of times because there are only so maps you can play in Control, is that takeoff control. Everything else, though, it's what these guys know and love.
You almost have to think that there comes a certain point in time where you do need to start making your map pool look a little bit better. As far as the control is concerned, that ban immediate to raid for exclusive. And I do like that because they probably understand losing the way that they did previously to be in this lower bracket. They better have a better best of 5 or inevitably a best of 7 map pool. The best way to do that is to stop your way through open finals in this lower bracket, but while also getting practice in the maps that you're maybe not as comfortable with along the way.
All right, well, it's about time to get into the first matchup of the day. I am excited to officially kick off SPS for this year. So, guys, let's get into it.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Well, this is our first match of the evening. It's the first match of 2025 for Call of Duty Mobile and the first match on a brand new map pool proper. I couldn't be more excited for it. And it is an interesting run, right? Because, as I said, with these open finals matches, you always get a situation where you've got a Titanic team going against a team of players that, for the most part, you wouldn't really be aware of. That's not totally the case for the team that Exclusive are having to play right now. We do know a couple of names on this team.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes down to Aptoz, we're looking for Ryu to be that one individual. He has the most experience when it comes to this roster of Aptoz, when it comes down to these high-octane situations. But Exclusive, woo, man, these names have been around for quite some time. Neil, Spy, Veer, some old heads, Grizz also coming in. That guy is gross, and they're going to be playing alongside Sticky to round out this 5th-player roster. Hacienda Hardpoint, you should definitely have it at this point in time. It is a staple map pool, and hell, we're even playing it right now in traditional Black Ops 6 as well. That's 4v4, though. 5v5 can get a little chaotic. Let's get this season underway.
Yeah, should be said, by the way, I think Sticky is actually Sour, and he's going to be an interesting talking point, I think, coming into the season for Exclusive. I mean, obviously, there's always those big picture conversations that you have about a roster such as Exclusive. You know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. They've really struggled to actually get anything successful going in the last couple of seasons of SPS, and how do they change that? Well, you bring in a player like Sour. I actually got the chance to cast him in UECE for Exclusive, and he's a really good player that I was pleasantly surprised by. So I think he's definitely going to be a player looking out for. I think for Exclusive that will really be able to step things up and take Exclusive to another level. Right now, though, the start of this hardpoint here proper, Exclusive are doing Exclusive things. Everyone is piecing left, right, and center. It is Exclusive in total control of the hardpoint. Aptoz really struggling to get anything going here.
Yeah, I mean, they immediately got possession of those spawns, haven't really relented the pressure off of U-Haul. I mean, Neil maybe pushed up a little bit too far forward, don't have anybody watching that rock push, so you immediately have Maze. He's pushing all the way across, trying to threaten the spawns, but he's on an island by himself. You could not have asked for a more flawless start for Exclusive, like you were saying, 43-5, but we expect them to do this. It's about the consistency. One has slipped through, immediately traded. Spawns will be flipped ever so slightly, but you imagine with this corner that Neil's holding, he's good for 2. Absolutely the case. Now they can focus in towards the back.
All right, kills starting to come through here. Neil will find a couple of kills. Maze slides through alongside Lime, and Aptoz able to get in for a couple of seconds, but it is only that as Grizz comes through for 3. Grizz will actually find 4, and Neil's Predator Missile comes down from the heavens to take down a couple of players. Spawn flip, though. Aptoz will be well aware of the fact that Exclusive should be L-triggering them, or whatever the COD Mobile equivalent is, and Spy lines everybody up. That's 3 easy kills for him. Exclusive are bullying Aptoz at this point in the game proper.
Pred Missile, insult to injury, backside of driveway, a couple of spawners coming through, kill feed still electric blue, and golly. There's only 7 seconds that Aptoz have been able to show for themselves. Yeah, tail tuck between your legs, run. I'll go all the way across gardens. Gotta try to win this rotation over towards New, because this first 2 hard points, well, just ain't it, Chief. You already got one player trying to cause a little bit of chaos in towards the back. That is 1969. He's currently just existing around top off, as you can see right there. Lime trying to help out his teammates, but one teammate in towards the back. You got operators now during P3. Spy's going to start things off with the equalizer.
Well, Equalizers will find 1 kill before being shut down. That is a big shutdown coming out from Lime. We talk about how important operators are. Sour is showing that right now with a Sparrow pre-firing and pre-aiming down range, but they'll only find a couple of kills for it. Doesn't really matter too much when the rest of your squad is picking up all the different angles. Ryo's managed to find his way in towards the hard point for a contest, but it doesn't last all that long. And Exclusive have every single angle, every single point of entry covered in towards this hill. And Aptoz can continue to send player after player towards this hard point. But right now, the way the Exclusive player, they need some kind of break-in. And it's going to be one of the new operators towards the map pool that's going to be brought in to try and break this hard point. It's lying with the Tempest, only able to find 2. That shutdown comes through here proper, and the last 15 seconds might go Exclusive's way.
Just feels so right seeing the Tempest on Hacia and Hardpoint, doesn't it, Brody? I feel like there's probably some Call of Duty mobile heads out there that probably had no idea what the heck I'm talking about, but that just looked right. 127-7. Operators not finding return value for Aptoz, but Exclusive continue to build their lead more. So Aptoz do have this rotation over towards the rock hill. They have a good semblance of where this push is starting to come from, but one player spawns out. That's going to be Neil. It's pushing past the well as we speak. The pinch is about to consume. Aptoz, can they hold? Ryo going out towards the middle of the map. Everybody trying to push in towards open stairs, and all of them getting punished for it. Korea's not able to land any shots. Naysoon, the only one with any success whatsoever. The onslaught completely tears Aptoz apart. They are removed very swiftly from the hard point, and now Exclusive are right back through. Won't be long before Aptoz are knocking at the door once again. Can they get anything done? No operators, just one in the back pocket for Korea, not choosing to utilize it, and they are getting punished for it. 1969 finds the kills. The gravity vortex gun from Grizz also doing some damage, and Aptoz can do nothing but barely touch the hard point here proper. Yeah, we saw a lot of that even in Atlanta in the previous seasons of SPS. Every single time there's Hacienda played here on the Rock Hill, that gravity vortex gun just shuts down so many points of ingress. I mean, realistically, you only have the 3 to choose from, but you're just getting zapped away by gravity itself. That's a tough thing to find yourself in. Even tougher to say, 144-30 going in towards the second set of hills. Exclusive looking pretty darn good. But just to zoom out real quick, again, we expect Exclusive to win this series. The question is about how much. How has Exclusive been able to rectify what went wrong when we were in Atlanta to now? Because they have a lot to answer for being one of Europe's best. Yeah, I mean, like, it's always tough to gauge those kind of questions, right? Not just in terms of, you know, the global stage, but here on kind of a local stage, if you will, because they're two very different things. What you can pull off versus lower level European teams, you will not be able to do that even against the lowest level of teams on the global stage, right? Even versus a roster like Diabolos, you wouldn't be able to get away with the same things that a roster like Exclusive does regularly get away with in European Snapdragon Pro Series. So I think we definitely need to see a lot of improvements from Exclusive, but it's hard to gauge whether or not they're actually doing those right now, because I feel like what we're seeing at the moment here proper is just a hell of a lot of slaying and not a lot of anything to be said for Aptoz. Oh no, not much at all. It's just a highlight of a run out of Grizz. This is what you expect out of them here on their Saturday, or Friday, excuse me, just to continue on with the antics that we got to see and the explosivity in previous seasons. 1969 gonna pop a War Machine, got the equalizer out from Spy. I mean, as soon as P2 pops, they can still win it here, and they're starting to run up some operators to be able to cement that. Yep. Just pre-aim this door if you're a Spy. There is absolutely no reason to push this one. I don't even know if you're going to get a chance at an engagement, because now 1969 is pushing out with that War Machine. A couple of players left up for Aptoz. The Predator Missile will deal with them pretty easily. And, well, I mean, it's not actually going to be fully him with the Predator Missile that gets it done. He has help from a teammate. Doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you do. Exclusive just have so much damn utility. This is difficult when you're facing down the entire arsenal that's available in Call of Duty Mobile Esports. Aptoz trying to find their way in. They're flailing for the last 10 here proper. Tempest going to be popped by Lime. Didn't really find much of anything over by P3, but got to somehow work your way in. 3 seconds are all that you need, and Aptoz nowhere to be found. It will be hit. 250-29. Feels good to be back in Open Finals, Brody. Things that we've expected. Yeah. Yep, that's about how I expected this best of 5 to go. Brilliant start from Exclusive. Look, it's so difficult because Aptoz are probably actually a good team, and I'm sure we're going to see that through the rest of this best of 5. I think it's so difficult, though, when you're literally facing them, at least statistically, the #1 team in European COD Mobile. Like, even though they didn't win Season 5, right, we'll have that conversation about Animus. We'll perhaps have that conversation about Queens when we get there. But, you know, on paper, Exclusive have been the most consistent European team in Call of Duty Mobile over the last couple of years. And I think
to face them in any round is so difficult. So right now, I don't think this is exactly doing them justice. I think what we're about to see, though, is stats that definitely do exclusive justice here proper.
Yep, absolutely. As we get towards the tail end of this one, exclusive going to be sitting pretty darn happy with themselves with a 1-0 lead here. Again, these are best of 5, so we're at least guaranteed to see that map 3. But I mean, if Aptoz have any opportunity to show anything, there's not really a whole lot to break down for map number 1, so let's go ahead and jump right into map number 2, bro. Tunisia, Search and Destroy. It's a staple, Search and Destroy. I mean, it feels weird not saying firing range map number 2, but it is what it is at the end of the day. These players should know about this one all too well. I mean, exclusive are not far from that conversation given their tenure when it comes down to Call of Duty Mobile within its own self, but there's going to come to a certain point where we're going to start breaking things down. This utility needs to be on point. You know, exclusive specifically for Grizz will be running at you constantly. These are all things you need to be marking on so that way you can make sure that you at least get numbers advantage. I want to see some honesty out of exclusive, but it needs to be earned. Aptoz do need to at least earn that honesty out of them.
Yeah, again, it's just like, how do you challenge as roster like exclusive? I know that Search and Destroy is a totally different ball game, right? But it's just so difficult. I think the thing that actually makes this more difficult, if you will, and it's a conversation regarding the vetoes, right? This is not one of those, they should have vetoed against exclusive because it's very difficult to do that at this stage of the competition, for one, and for two, the fact that there's a new map pool. But also, I would have liked to have seen them, looking for some new maps in the map pool, right? It's so difficult. You're playing old maps that exclusive have months of experience on. Like, they know exactly how to play these maps, and Tunisia Search and Destroy is going to be no different, to the point where I feel like, and I saw this in UECE, exclusive know how to break bomb sites on offense. Like, they are so good at getting bomb sites on offense. If Aptoz come into this Search and Destroy proper and they do not win their defenses, Tunisia or S&D, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I think that has to be step one for me, is just try and play these defenses as standardly as possible. Like, don't do anything. I don't want to see anything special. I don't want to see any crazy snipes out of any of these players. It would be nice. I don't expect it. I just want to see some bog standard Call of Duty Mobile to get those defenses won.
42 and 15 out of Grizz in that map number 1. He's just about everywhere you could possibly be. Sawu, to your point, if it is true and it is that newcomer of Sticky, definitely pulling their legwork, 31 and 11. I mean, it's just a highlight reel of one side and a calamity on the other, unfortunate to say. 250 to 29 is exactly what I expect these KD ratios to look like. But yeah, I mean, look, Tunisia Search and Destroy, it is defensive sided. You need a lot of good value with your snipers looking down the middle of the map, sometimes the 2 snipers or your lurk to find value inside of top line, depending on which defense or where alarm bars are going to be hinting at. But you talked about having months of experience just playing the map, Brody. How about just months of experience playing together? I mean, like, that's what exclusive do have over Aptoz, I'd imagine, at this point in time. The core of this exclusive roster has been playing together probably closer to about half a year than it is further away at this point in time. And you do get to learn a lot of those anticipatory remarks of what your teammate is doing. What am I supposed to do on Search and Destroy? Every single bit of utility. Sometimes you don't even need to have that conversation. But it also could be a door opening for Aptoz, that they maybe exclusive are trying to be a little bit too formal, right? There's really no telling. I don't have the VOD of what happened in their loss versus Queens, but losing 0-2 to a team that, especially you, just placing top 2 behind Animus in the previous online stage of Snapdragon Pro Series, you don't expect to find yourself in this lower bracket. Not right now. So maybe playing a little bit too formal, Aptoz might be able to throw a wrench in that system.
Again, I think we'll have an extended conversation about what's going on with Queens as a roster tomorrow, right? Because I think that's when we're getting Animus versus Queens. Spoiler, sorry. But I think, we talk about the exclusive side of the conversation. It's worth saying, again, Queens, I go back to UEC, and Queens are able to beat out exclusive, albeit with a slightly altered roster there as well. So it's not a one-time thing. Like, consistently now, exclusive has shown that they are losing to Queens in open finals and at UECE. So there might just be a new kid on the block in terms of challenges for the best of the best. But talking about the best of the best, we're about to see it here for Europe on Tunisia Search and Destroy. Defense is standard as pretty much always. As a matter of fact, exclusive getting pretty aggressive here, and Grizz right off the bat wants that first blood, and he makes it look so damn easy. Nathan down for the count.
It's just like I was saying, right? Like, you get this lurk over inside top line. Like, Nathan was still just hanging around. Everybody else is trying to exit, and now Aptoz are expecting Grizz to try to push for the trade. And although they'd be right, Grizz had no reason to give up his life at that moment of time. Now all things even for a piece. Plenty of time left to work this map.
I do actually really like that play. I do really like that play on the whole from Aptoz, though, right? I mean, they recognize, as you said, that somebody from Exclusive is going to push them, and to immediately hold off on that to get the trade-off is good. Now the next problem is going to be facing a lot of players watching down all of these different angles. Neil in the middle of the map, considered one of the best snipers in European Call of Duty Mobile, will actually whiff the first shot. Nade over the top for the second. Doesn't actually connect down to the trophy system that is there to protect. 40 seconds, though. Aptoz will be feeling that timer sooner rather than later. Despite the fact they pushed Neil out of position, they are slowly making their way behind enemy lines. But 1969 is here, watching that cut. Neil taken down elsewhere. 1969 now feeling the breath on his neck and will get shut down as well. Was not quite expecting Lime to come from behind. And now Aptoz are making these offenses work.
Spy lasts alive, doesn't have the right weapon for the clutch. R9 shotgun is just... It's a great weapon if you are lurking inside a wine or you get close to proximity gunfights. Might get good one on the right. No, I'm just going to get crossed up. But yeah, I mean, it's like what we were immediately talking about, right? The wine lurk comes through round one out of Grizz. He finds that first blood, forces the issue, but then gets a little bit too egregious, in my opinion. Like, pushes through, and it's less we were talking about. Aptoz made the right call. They waited for that number to come back through in a good cross decision to hit back through mid-map and take the round one.
I've got to say, fair play to Aptoz to make that offense work in the way that they did.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're trying it again, and this is where those standard positions really do come back to bite them. The last round was a bit unconventional. This one feels much more usual. Spy gets aggressive and will get shut down for it. Lime also able to take Sour out of the cut, and now you know the next phase of this play has to be taking Neil out of that backline, but now you're starting to get attacked from behind from Grizz as well. Again, you're starting to feel the heat from multiple angles here if you're Aptoz, and you want to find another frag before you make this move forward. There it is.
I don't think that Korea actually saw that Grizz had moved a little bit further past, but Lime will be there for the trade regardless. 1v2 for Neil. Best believe he's got a sniper in his back pocket. You ready? Yep.
Oh, whiffs one. He does have these players separated, to be fair, so I'm not sure if he knows it. I think that's kind of why he's keeping an eye on the top side here, but if Neil picks off Lime, he's not going to immediately know the bomb's rotated away, but Neil continues to whiff. I don't think he's been on his phone recently. This is not the usual Neil we've come to know and love. He's taken a really long time with this fight here, probably.
Yeah, he knows that Lime is still trapped, hasn't seen him exit. Saw him there at the end, but I guess didn't fully see him or didn't expect for him still to be hanging around. He knew he had to start rotating over towards A, right? You get the information, the bomb's planted over there. Really big heads-up play for Korea. I mean, it feels like as the bomb carrier is kind of spearheading the maneuvers around the map on these rotations. And even the hesitancy over by B meant that they got the first blood and they could overwhelm with numbers around the site. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from Lime. It's worth saying the USS-9 does make things significantly easier for Lime to make that play call happen. Still, phenomenal start to this game. Aggression from Exclusive, though, will result in a couple of frags, and now Aptoz are boxed in once again. Gonna need to see some over-aggression from Exclusive, and knowing them, they will give it. However, Neil is keeping an eagle eye on that cut. Nazen steps out into the open and will get shut down for it. Shots on towards the back line. Sao, though, happy to walk away with information. You're in a 5 versus 2, and they are going to get aggressive here. Proper. Lime finds a quick double. Somehow, some way, Lime is still alive.
Where do you think you're trying to go? I mean, like, it ultimately works out. You get the trades and you win the round, but, like, put it in the perspective of just, like, good fundamental Call of Duty, right? Like, Sawu, he gets the pinch. There's no confirmation anybody left. Sawu gets the confirmation. Even seeing one, you know that they're trapped. So if you're spying Grizz, even going 1 for 1, and the trade finally came through, you had the numbers and it worked out. It's just an egregious play that doesn't need to happen. Regardless, Exclusive finally get on the board. Here comes the pace over towards A.
Aptoz not messing around anymore. They deal progression moving forward. Grizz open things up with a couple of kills, though. Grizz will find 3 in this round. Nason, no, gonna find 3 right back with the sniper rifle. Now looking for more. 2 versus 2. Exclusive have been bullied out of the site. You get this bomb down, things become significantly easier.
Korea's second guessing about it. Wants to plant that bomb, but also wants to take the fight through mid. Neil loses that one. Sniper versus a spray and pray weapon. Leaves Sawu, the USS-9, and a 1v2. You overwatch. I got the plant. Good luck with this one, bud. Ooh.
Just the positioning right now. This bomb site is so open. It's so difficult for USS-9 to move forward. Sauer's going to try it, though. Looking for information at this point in time. Nazen spotted him out. Survive. Dips and dives away, but a lot of time is being removed from the clock at the moment. Sauer has to make a move sooner rather than later.
Had no idea where Korea was the entire time either. Just playing that cross, we get the luxury of the X-ray, seeing that they were on the other side of that box, playing the one-off angle from the alarm bell of Nason playing up top line for the post plant. But
the objective.
yeah, I mean, Aptoz, slow and steady, winning out these rounds, being able to find first blood. Exclusive getting egregious in pushing for these trades, and they're losing numbers along the way.
I do like this from Aptoz, to be fair. They are getting aggressive against Exclusive, winning these offensive rounds. And that's a hell of a set nade coming through from Sao and Spy. 3 players down off the start of this round. Korea and Ryu isolated and have to find a way towards these sites. Spy, I think, will have just seen them and will have made the call. So for these last remaining players here in a 2 versus 3, it's about trying to find a way through unscathed. Korea's unable to. Ryu, though, will for the first kill. Now looking for the 1v1s against Spy and Neil.
Doesn't have bomb. Issue number 1. Issue number 2. You're kind of pinched right now. He's going to fly out, has the 1v1, and the smoke was kind of covering him. So, I mean, if he wins that one, expects a second, maybe he tries to play for the regen a little bit, going back towards the offender's spawn. There could be a world where we are talking about a 2-round lead, not the one that we live in. It is a 1-round difference at this point in time. The aggression through mid did not work out from the popcorn nades that Exclusive were cooking.
And over the top again. Exclusive just trying to hold Aptoz back while they get in a position. Grizz the aggression once again, but once again, Aptoz are ready for it. They hold themselves back. They deal with Grizz. Now the world is their oyster. They've got a plethora of ways they can play this one. If they find one more frag, they'll get a lot more space to work with, but Neil will trade right back. Aptoz taking their time, I think, has been their Achilles heel.
And Neil's just picking up through mid. I mean, the rotation just to try to bolster after losing the first blood of Grizz. They're just thinking that it's for sure going to come over towards A. Exclusive saw this a couple rounds ago on offense. Maze, he's just stuck looking at Sal going to catch him lacking a little bit, and that cements numbers 4v3.
We're going to see a rotation here from Aptoz, potentially. Not putting all their eggs into the rotation basket just yet. Ryu's keeping an eye on the flank through. Might get something at the moment. Aptoz are slowly making their way across the map. Neil, I think as Spidey senses a tingling, he is ready for that push to happen. Well, Aptoz full foul. Rose taking a lot of shots, I think, to try and make some noise. And it's actually worked perfectly here. The noise that he's made is baited players towards the middle of the map. Aptoz have free reign towards the bomb site despite losing Ryu.
They still think this is going A. For some odd reason, Exclusive think that they're still trapped inside of line. I mean, they're going to be able to have the 4v2 retake. It should be relatively easy if they just play for the trades, but just a little silly that we find ourselves in this situation.
I do wonder what the post plant looks like here for Aptoz.
Not good.
Yeah, they're still struggling where to go. 2 versus 3. This is incredibly difficult. They're going to hope that Exclusive stack up right in front of them. An opportunity to do so here for a line, but unfortunately not able to look in the right direction. And Nazen, like a deer in headlights, unable to do anything there. Neil shuts him down. Exclusive, they've got the numbers for that retake.
Yeah, it's just, again, I was wondering what information they probably thought that they had, that they were still players trapped inside of line. I mean, like Neil, when they lost that first blood to Grizz and everybody started rotating over, Neil was picking up mid, but lost the timing that was so obvious that they could wrap all the way back over towards the B lane. Doesn't matter. 2 in a row for Exclusive. Keep things even as we swap sides.
All right, well, first blood this time around is drawn by Nazen. 169 out of the play. Quite a lot of noise being made by Exclusive towards A. That's not where the hit's coming from. Look at Nazen. He's all the way down to a sliver of HP, and Sauer is going to be one to finish him off. So Exclusive now brute force their way into the site, and they'll get that rock down.
Now you got to somehow retake this. Watch number 1 in blue. Neil is flanking, pushing all the way through the site. Ryu thinks that he has them dead to rights, but this is not looking good for a post-play retake.
Just got so much to do and so many threats to contend with. Neil's going to come into play sooner rather than later as well. Greer's keeping an eye on the cut. He'll make the call, and Neil comes in behind for what I believe might well be a collateral. Just one more player to deal with. And Maze has nothing to say. Exclusive continue to pounce.
He'll have no fury than a man with a sniper rifle pushing all the way through A lane for a flank and gets a collat. Looking like a rank play match out here, Brody. I'll tell you that much. Golly. Should not allow that to happen. And that's that 3 in a row now for Exclusive. After the side swap, they win the initial offense. Here comes some aggression over towards B. Splits play again. Neil liking what he put together over by A last round.
Has to be said, fair play to Aptoz to win those 3 rounds on the offense, but Exclusive seem to have found themselves in a groove. Now numbers in their favor once again as they go for a 2-for-1 trade on site. It's the exact same strategy that we've seen previously. And things get even worse for the last remaining Aptoz players. They've lost Ryu and they are once again dealing with the exact same setup. This time though, they're being more aggressive about it. Sawo, not ready for it. Lime takes Sawo down. I have no idea how Sawo's lost those fights.
Should not have lost it. Lime had enough time to pick the gun up, make sure it wasn't chambered, clean the barrel, and still get that shot off. Like, Aptoz are going to lose the round, but Salvo's going to have to rethink about that one for sure. 4 in a row now for Exclusive, marching their way forward towards that 7-round mark to take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5.
Defend the objective.
All right, 4 rounds on the bounce now for Exclusive. They have taken control of this game. Aptoz have to get a hand on the wheel sooner rather than later, and it might not happen here. Once again, everyone's missing shots versus Line. Line comes out, easy pickings versus Grizz. And again, the door has surely opened here for something to happen towards A, but we're in that exact same spot where they just want to be sure before making that move.
Neil wanted to push all the way through. They're expecting it this time. They're starting to learn. Aptoz not going to allow Neil to get away with highway robbery all the way through the A lane. The bomb might still suggest to go over towards A, but Spy is going to concede that. 1969 finds a pick back. So have a 1-player life lead if you are Aptoz, and Sawu trying to get cheeky with the timing. Doesn't find much of anything. He knows that there's still a lot of numbers hanging around A. Some late util, smoke going over towards the bottom center of the map. I'm just going to have to watch this cross. Does want to find one.
Spy and Sawu. And no choice here but to split up in this round. 55 seconds on the clock. Before you know it, that'll be gone in a flash. Nezu not able to do anything. Sawo through the wall will take them down. Now just down a Lime, and Sawo can remove them as well. So now 2 versus 2. Exclusive have brought this back to a very manageable spot. Once again, have a lot more choice in how they want to play this one. The idea here, proper, has to be some kind of brain plate, big brain plate. Move over towards A. Surely Aptoz won't think this is the play.
25 seconds. I mean, they're sticking to their guns. Like, they're still watching it. It's just Type 19 and an SMG for 2 other players. And yeah, timing is just cataclysmic. Instead of just trusting for a 2v2 retake, watch the other bomb site. They try to play for maybe the Raps actually going over towards B. Not the case at all. Now Exclusive have a win condition.
Aptoz now need to find a way back into the site. Korea's had a good game so far. 7 frags to their name. The points of entries are being watched. Aptoz just have to hope that there is some good timing on this court. We go. Korea for the point of entry. Sawo with the first shot. Now Sawo's going to take down Ryu. Knows where Korea is and gets it done. Sawo for 2. Exclusive just cannot lose right now.
No, they can't. I mean, timing be damned. It's just crazy because you go back to that entire first half, and Aptoz were getting every single blessed timing that they could possibly find. That time around, they assumed that it was going over towards B. Was not the case. Exclusive up on map point, bombarding A with nades ceremoniously. Those nades are going to land in towards the back. Easy 2-piece for Sawo. Oh, he's not done.
Oh, I told you, keep an eye on this man. Sawo, the new kid on the block. Putting the hurt down on Aptoz at this point in time. On the hunt for the ace. He's already had 3 kills in the round. Grizz will get shut down. There's the call. Hey, there's another player to take down if you want, Sawo. And he'll find Nathan. Now just 1 more for the ace if you're a Sawo. Desperately hunting for the last player. Mazes is weak. Sawo's going to be gifted the kill. It's an ace for Sawo to close out the search and destroy.
You would never have guessed that it was a 3-3 half and you won 3 rounds of offense if you are Aptoz. Not with the way we saw things bouncing in the favor for Exclusive. It was 1-3 at one point, 6 rounds in a row. Sure, I guess Exclusive finally started to realize, hey, maybe we should stop over-aggressing for picks inside of line. Maybe we shouldn't take our enemies for granted. How about some fundamental search and destroy, set up Neil for the cross, kind of flood these guys out into these longer lines of sight, set up some easy picks. It's an easy search and destroy. You don't have to overcomplicate it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Exclusive, that was a good little bounce back once they wore it down 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the first few rounds for Exclusive, and you can see that even right off the rip here, where, I think we saw that initial from Grizz, got over aggressive. To be fair, to their opposition here, to Aptoz, they were somewhat reading how Exclusive were going to play. And again, I think it was just kind of a relaxed way to play for those first few rounds for Exclusive, where, yeah, fair play, you saw incredible plays like that from Nathan, but for the most part, Exclusive were the ones putting the foot wrong. As soon as we got past round 4, though, it was all Exclusive. They started to get aggressive, they started to feel themselves and started playing, I think, more crucially like a team should.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just playing for the double chows. You got to see all the team nades. It was what was the one round? Was it like round 6 or something that tied us up at 3 apiece? Was like the big popcorn nade through the middle of the map. That was all by way of Sao, Grizz. They were getting a lot of good team nades and was setting up 1969 and Neil for these crossfires with their sniper. It was really nice to be able to see, again, the core fundamentals coming out to play. Lime had a hell of a game. I mean, albeit some players of Exclusive turning into right stormtroopers when they're trying to shoot him sometimes. But, I digress. It's one of those things that is definitely a better look for Aptoz, but the hill becomes that much steeper. You're down 0-2.
Dude, sometimes I feel like I'm watching the Lime. It's like, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me kind of vibes. He just dodging all those bullets. I don't know how he does it. But, shout out to Sao. 18 kills is an insane amount in any game of Search and Destroy. For him to commandingly take control of that game for Exclusive. I said it, man. I said we got to be keeping an eye out for Sao because he is a player that performs incredibly well. He is a great addition for the Exclusive roster. And again, there's only so much we can take away from a matchup like this for Exclusive, where I think really going to be having to see what the Exclusive look like with Sao in the challenge season if they get there. But I really do feel like Sao is the kind of player that can elevate Exclusive to a position where maybe they do finally get that first place championship at the end of this season of SPS. But that's a long way away right now. Exclusive have a long road to go, and they've crucially, I think, still got to win one final map in this series to call it a 3-0 and move forward into the lower bracket and continue the run that we saw earlier on at the top of the show. And that next map is going to be Takeoff Control. It's time for our first debut map of the season here, probably.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Exclusive... If there's one thing that they were definitely lacking when you go back and you watch that Grand Finals versus Animus, it was like that consistent X factor. Is Sao going to be that guy? I'm not too sure because he was actually one of those first ones that kind of whiffed every single bullet at a point-blank line when he was picking up a sniper. I digress. Here we go. Offense to start things off. Going to try to assault one of these 2 zones. Our first look this year of Takeoff Control.
And Takeoff Control, for those of you guys who haven't seen it before, does behave very similarly, well, we will say, to pretty much all the other control maps, right? In the defense has a spawn trap which they can set off and keep players there and basically bully them. You're seeing that on the map already, by the way. Sao looking for a kill with a melee. You saw it there. I think Spy was the other player alongside Grizz getting this spawn trap done. Grizz is now piecing these guys up. You're seeing the spawn trap Predator missile right down from the heavens. Spawn protection isn't going to help you in the middle of the map. And it isn't that crazy damage to the kill, the life differential at the moment here proper, but it's the amount of map control that Exclusive have. I think that's the scary part for Aptoz.
And Nathan was trying to at least rectify it. He was inside of the lounge just trying to maybe bring some hate or some hurt over towards the life deficit that his team is facing because it is 9 and it is getting more steep by the second. Trying to respawn, maybe push all the way through launch. Could be a good place to be if you are Aptoz. Maybe try to get over towards the speed zone because that's the name of the game. Get on one of these zones. You saw the clock. Maybe you find some more kills. But if the defense find the kills, Brody, well, this is what I expect to happen every single time.
Yeah, more or less. Even for Aptoz here, you'll see them as they switch sides have a lot better fortune. Korea was the one player that did get through. He was waiting for somebody to help him through the launch center building, but no players managed to get past Exclusive. There's only a couple of left, and they're not even going to get a chance as they go down. I think actually the clock stopped and the last kill comes through at the exact same time, so I'm not sure what the win condition actually is. I think it's actually the kill that closes out the round for Exclusive. It does not matter. That is an indomitable start, and it's pretty much all down to Grizz in that spot.
Yeah, thanks, Brody. Really need that distinction of how the round ended with 1 life.
I wasn't sure, honestly. It was the exact same time.
Because the almost 20 life deficit is going to play a factor with the lack of 7. Really not. We'll have to see. Aptoz need to answer back with something as Herculean as we saw Exclusive just do. But the opening breakoff just is not good enough. Already on the A zone, stalling out that clock.
I'll say Exclusive, not dealing with the spawn trap just yet. They're getting a lot of map control. Double stack on A is going to mean that that's going to go a lot faster than I think Aptoz will have any chance to deal with. Now more kills in the kill feed. Oh, goodness me. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken upon Aptoz's potential chances here on the defense, because so far it's looking slim. Aptoz being pieced in the middle of the map. Sawo will find a couple of kills here. Aptoz reduced to that corner building, and while Lime might well turn and burn on towards 1969, the damage is well and truly done. Kills still continue to come through here proper, and A is gone.
Add extra 60 seconds out on towards the board. You got a 10 life lead, make it 11. Exclusive just waltzing through the map. Neil is just kind of chilling now with the death machine over towards the B control zone. He's going to get traded out, but I mean, just belittling them with bullets sets up the flank out of Gris wonderfully.
Aptoz are just trying to hold on here on the defense. Exclusive could take their time with this as well, right? 1 minute 45 on the clock. They got a lot of ways to play this one. I don't think Spy wants to take his time, though. He's done. He's pressing the go button right here, right now. Equalizes out towards the point. Has already found value for a 1. There is a bit of resistance, though. Exclusive, for the most part, have been dealt with here on that initial push, but that life differential is such a massive problem at the moment here, proper.
Yeah, it is. Sawu's going to go ahead and pull out the Hunter Sparrow, and like, you got the War Machine out Korea. This was going to be my question, right? Like, you're starting to get operators. Do you start pulling out these tools now to try to make sure that you go 1 for 1 as far as rounds? Because then it turns into this. You want to hold on to your operators. You're going to need it for an offense. Exclusive 14v1. Yeah, just chow them at that point. You don't want them to give up any extra segments. Not like it really mattered at all. You get a total of 4 segments. You get the offensive round win. 1 round away are Exclusive. They got at least 1 more operator in their back pocket. I'm pretty sure out of 1969. Oh, wait, no, he actually used the death machine. So even then, you got to make this one stake if you're Aptoz. 4 operators. Gosh, it would be a shame if they all 4 popped them at the same time, right?
Yeah, you know, that would be the smart thing to do. Whether or not Aptoz will actually do it is going to be an interesting thing. Lime's the only one to actually utilize his Tempest, and they're going to get shut down. So Aptoz, that's 1 operator down, and now they're stuck in the spawn trap. And to be honest, I kind of would have wanted to see those operators out all at once, because it's going to be the only chance of you not getting stuck in a spawn trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah! Oh, Korea. Oh, buddy.
Oh, man.
You
And
got to
Spy's
run
going to call in a
install.
Pred missile, just insult to injury. 45 seconds, and the opening breakoff was settled before we even got boots on ground.
Yeah, that's why you kind of need to see those operators right from the word go. Exclusive here, dominating. They're watching every single angle. As soon as Aptoz spawn in, they are sent right back to the next respawn team. It is a deadly cycle that Aptoz find themselves in right now, and they just want the nightmare to be over. 23 seconds on the clock, and I don't think it's going to be long until it is. Ryu coming out now, the equalizer's maze with the purifier. Anything being thrown at this game at the moment. Neil does get shut out. 9 seconds, though. All you got to do is touch this point proper.
1969, gonna get traded out. Top of the bridge. 16v6. 7 seconds. Just play trades. No respawns remaining. Here come all of the kills. No more operators. No more funny business. Exclusive, they might find themselves in the lower bracket, but it is as business could possibly be. A 3-0 here against Aptoz. A 3-0 in the series. We're not done with Exclusive yet.
It's a never-ending nightmare, and finally, it is over for Aptoz. For Exclusive, the nightmare does continue in this lower bracket run. 3-0, though. I mean, it's kind of what we expected out of this series. I was actually going to say, I didn't get a chance to say it, but like, if Exclusive didn't 3-0 this series, I would be totally surprised. I would have like done some kind of crazy thing, like eat a whole cheesecake on broadcast or something like that.
That's not that crazy. That sounds like a good time.
I just want an excuse to eat a whole cheesecake on broadcast. Maybe we'll go with that later on during the show. That being said, Exclusive, yeah, I mean, I think for me, that round number 1, it was a case of, all right, look, it's a defensively sided map, right? There's only one spawn. Exclusive just played the spawn traps. Surely Aptoz will do it to them in round number 2. And as soon as they didn't off the rip, as soon as Exclusive started capturing A, I was like, yeah, you know, maybe this isn't going to go how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, and like you even go into the round 3, right? You get almost all 5 players with operators. It's
Yeah.
like typically you want to see them like combine at least a handful, but it's like I said, when push comes to shove, that was probably the only time we would have been able to see them use all of their operators and find value with it. It's unfortunate because, again, they're not a bad team. They were able to showcase a lot of good fundamentals. Like, they rotated early for the hard point. Their setups, those 3 rounds they won on offense, no easy feat on Tunisia versus Exclusive, being Grizz was just sprinting at them. Sure, but it's how they handled it along the way. Control is still a fickle mistress when it comes to Call of Duty Mobile, so I won't fault them too much there, but gosh, I hope this isn't the last time we saw them because there was a lot of good bright spots.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was just busy looking up how to quickly acquire a cheesecake. Would love that. So we could see if Brody's actually capable. I think chat, I want to make sure chat remembers that for later on in the season.
It's very capable.
Very capable.
Because I feel like that could be a good challenge for something at some point during the season. I've made a note of it in my notes. But yeah, starting off strong, Exclusive 3-0. We knew that was something that they were more than capable of doing, something they obviously need to do if they want to stay alive here, make their way through to the challenge season, which I think all of us are expecting them to do and would be kind of devastating if they didn't make it that far in the competition. But that's the first match on the day, done in a quick 3-0 fashion. And don't forget, everyone at home, we are currently focusing on the lower bracket here today. So that's the first of 4 matches. Exclusive now one step closer to where they need to be. And this should be interesting to see now who they're going to end up facing off against here proper, because another situation where they will have that upper hand.
Yeah, again, you have to win the next series just to qualify if you are Exclusive. So whatever that opponent might be, like it's not done being potential shark-infested waters. Like, I know we're all focusing on the lower bracket right now, but like Queens is still up there. They 2-0'd Exclusive in an early round. Animus are still hanging around. Exclusive haven't been able to beat them at all through the last season. So, I mean, yeah, I'd be shaking in my wellies. Word to Brody if I'm Exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. For everyone at home, if you're wondering who they're going to be facing off against, we have to wait and see how that upper bracket goes, and then whoever loses in that upper bracket has that one final opportunity to drop down in the lower bracket, and that's who will end up. One of those teams will be the one that faces off against Exclusive to claim that spot in our challenge season. But we still have 3 more matches left to go here, at least on the lower bracket portion of things. 3 more teams that will continue on, and some teams who will be being sent home. We're starting off with 16 here today, and we're already going to start knocking people out. That's how quickly these open finals will go, and we know how important it is for our squads to make their way through to the challenge season, because at the end of the year, everyone is fighting to make their way to champs. Okay, they want to be able to put their name in the history books of Call of Duty Mobile. They want the ones with the title. They want the trophy, and they have to kind of acquire a lot of smaller titles and trophies along the way in order to get there. So this is just the beginning of all of the action that we have going on here, which means it's time for us to send it to a short break so we can get our players set up for match number 2 on the day. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we are preparing to get into our second matchup of the day. It's going to be Vanquish versus Naikfuria. I hope we're saying this the right way. I'm not really sure, but we're going to go with that for right now. So let's start talking about them. Let's take a look at these rosters here and see who we've got playing on these squads. Because we can see if there's anybody that we recognize from SPS Season Pass. And this is what we were talking about, Brody. This is always something that can pop up as we go.
Yeah, Vanquish is one of those names. You'll definitely recognize the name and some of the players on the roster. Vanquish did play in Season 5. Some of the players on this season's team also played in that season, namely Kuda, Gon, and Kirby. Then they played with Lydia and Zizi, I think it was. Or Zed, I don't know if we ever worked out how to pronounce the name. But they played, and they didn't do that well. They went last and they didn't win a map, which I think is an understatement. So this season, they've added a couple of new names to the roster, a couple of names that I actually don't know all that much about. But again, it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, just because I don't know them doesn't mean they're not good players. They could well come through here, just like Silo has for exclusive, and prove themselves to be a valuable pickup for Vanquish.
Yeah, and I think in either situation here, Proper, the important part for today across the board is just the fact that whoever we see on these squads needs to step up to the plate. Okay, there is no other opportunity here. You're in the lower bracket, so whether it's one squad or the other, everything needs to be put on the line here right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look at Naikfuria's roster, not a single name. I have not seen a single name that's on this roster. Not a single point in time. But it's as you were talking about, like, your A game does need to be right now. This is a lower bracket best of 5 match with vetoes. So there's really no excuse besides maybe lack of preparation, lack of sleep, or some other excuse you could possibly have for yourself on this day to play your best Call of Duty Mobile, because we are looking for names. Again, top 8 is what is going towards the next stage. And the only thing that you got to think about is, what could I possibly do to beat this team on the opposite side? If you are Naikfuria, yes, by namesake, you're facing up against another SPS team. But it's like Brody said, they have not won they barely even won anything last season. So there should be no fear. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an opportunity for those name-making moments as well, because as we've seen from the bracket, there are a lot of open spots for new teams to come in through into the challenge season this time around, as we get a chance to take a look at our picks and bans, starting off with an Arsenal hardpoint, Brody.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I'm kind of surprised. I don't think this is a veto process, right? So I'm kind of surprised this has actually been allowed through, considering a lot of players are kind of somewhat, I don't know what the word would be, but Arsenal hardpoint plays very differently to Arsenal control. So I'm kind of surprised. It plays very differently, right? And I believe there's something about like mantling right now where some players sometimes can't do it on certain part of the maps. So that makes things interesting. Those kind of things though, right? And even the fact that Arsenal hardpoint is a new map in the rotation gives Naikfuria a chance to kind of throw things off for Vanquish. Goes back to that conversation we had with the first map set. But, you know, moving beyond that in the series, we've got to have a Hassie and a hardpoint, because we wouldn't be playing Call of Duty Mobile if we don't. You got to have a Tunisia Search and Destroy apparently as well. And the Old Faithful is back. It's a raid control slap bang in the middle of the series, which we will get as well. So who doesn't have a raid?
We don't have a firing range. Where's the firing range, man? Like, you keep talking about the Hacienda, Brody. We ain't got no firing range. Like, how dare you keep talking about staples of Call of Duty Mobile with no firing range in the best of 5 map set? Come on.
I'm glad that you said something proper. Thank you for calling that out. It just doesn't feel right if it's not what we're getting. But we're going to have to see how they fare on this particular map set regardless, because our Arsenal hardpoint should be about ready to kick off. So let's dive into match number 2.
Alrighty, it's not going to be long here before we get into our Arsenal hard point here. Vanquish and Naikfuria, and this is one of those situations where we know very little about the opposition here, the challenger, if you will, versus a roster that is a namestay in European Call of Duty Mobile. For Vanquish, though, I mean, this is a shot at redemption, right? I mean, like, we looked at them last season, and as I said, they didn't win a single map in their GSL group. They went 0-6. I think all the maps pretty much were dominant against them as well. It was a disappointing season of Snapdragon Pro Series for Vanquish. This is a chance for redemption. It's roster.
We keep seeing this a lot when it comes down to the Snapdragon Pro Series, Brody. Teams get bounced out. They get back in. They make roster changes. Is this going to be the one that allows them to, I guess, set the precedent of just at least beating another top team in a map of Call of Duty Mobile? Not too sure, but until we start talking about what Vanquish might look like against other top teams, they got to get against another team here today. And the thing about Naikfuria, although we don't have any information on them, same could be said for Vanquish. And when it comes to an Arsenal hardpoint, again, they wanted to get rid of Apocalypse. Slums was getting rid of on the opposite side. So this was actually picked by Vanquish, probably wanting to bolster their map pool, maybe trying out some new wheels as far as Call of Duty Mobile SPS Season 6 is concerned. Either way, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's always a conversation point, right? With the open final stage of the competition, especially if you're a roster like Vanquish that, theoretically speaking, should come out here and beat Naikfuria with ease. Why not throw like a couple of the new maps in, right? Get season practice on a higher stage of competition than just your bog standard scrims. Why not throw those in? Because at this point, I mean, it's the best time to do it comparatively to when we get into challenges and when we get to, if Vanquish get their challenge finals, right? Where it's just like, you kind of can't just throw maps in for the sake of it, right? You do need to try and veto against your opposition. So if there's ever a time to experiment in map pool, it is definitely now, and it feels like that has definitely been the case here for Vanquish. Off the start, they don't look particularly concerned though here proper. P1 is a very difficult hill to break, and it's even more difficult when you're facing down Vanquish at all those points of entry.
I mean, yeah, this is 5 seconds shy of perfect. 55 seconds off of P1 on Arsenal. Doesn't happen all too often, given how crazy open that map one or that P1 is. Predator missile already earned to start things off. This rotation over towards the barracks, relatively easy. You got split spawns coming through from Naikfuria. Can they find any semblance of kills? So no, another Predator missile comes through from Mark, and yeah, that's immediately going to put them to rest. Great first initial defense.
Vanquish, yeah, just getting a kind of relatively easy transition from P1 to P2, and the kill feed continues to be there as well. Markuda making sure that this Type 19 look like it doesn't even move right now. No recoil on this gun whatsoever, and let's be honest, there's not that much to begin with, but Vanquish right now just holding down the fort or the hard point. Gone now, picking up exactly where Kuda left off. Just trying to take all of these guys out. Finally, we'll get shut down. Now Naikfuria knocking at the door here. Leia ready for the jump down for all these players. There goes the namesake for the roster. There goes another. And there goes a third as Leia takes down every single player. Naikfuria now spawning in the back line. And that's not what they want for this roto.
No, not at all. Layer just putting them on a poster every which way. Also has another player just jumping right towards him. Predator missile should at least keep himself safe. He's playing by himself, and it feels like he's just a one-man army. He only got the 6 eliminations, but as we rotate over towards P3 now, Brody, is where operators are going to start coming online. You got Markuda, has that War Machine ready. You also got Kirby dipping into their levels of enrichments as well, and why not Vanquish? Just let them have the entire house. Golly.
Just throw anything at this point. Just keep on going on. Just keep on going on. Goodness me. More kills for Kim on the other side. The Naikfuria players spawn up and they immediately get shut down. Gon is continuing his killing spree on the other side. 4 for Gon. Somebody stop him, please. He's just got 5. Absolute bananas play from Gon. And Vanquish are in full control of the kill feed. I can't remember the last time Naikfuria got a kill. Finally, one comes through. They've not got a point. What is going on?
Brody, they only have 8 kills, Brody. I mean... oh, man. It's looking bad. It's looking real bad right now. I mean, they even trying to contest for the time. It's not gonna matter. Rotation should be won. You got a split spawn coming through. They're about to have numbers for this hill, Brody. Can they touch it though?
Yeah, we got a point. Let's go, Naikfuria. I've never been.
Go,
dude. I sat and watched Avengers Endgame on midnight release, and I don't think that was as happy of an experience as I've just seen Naikfuria get a point on this hard point. Dude.
That's pretty happy.
That's my level of happiness right now. Vanquish still in control though. Naikfuria dealing with everything now. The snowball effects of all the utility, the operators, the score streaks that Vanquish will have obtained off the back of the early control in this game are now starting to be thrown in Naikfuria's direction. 20 seconds left on this hard point, and you best believe Vanquish will be after every single second. Blast Sparrow shot out from Leia. We'll have to switch over towards the USS 9 for more kills. Marcuda picks things up with the War Machine for a couple of frags. One more down to your right, buddy. You might as well just keep on spamming that thing down range, because if he doesn't get the kills, Kirby will. And Vanquish just continue to dominate in this game. Naikfuria might well get a touch on New, but it's barely going to be a touch.
Yep, they get the first touch here as far as P5 is concerned, but okay, buddy. And then they get broken up. There's just one player in there with his name, and yeah, he's dead. He's dead now. Kirby's got another operator as well. 45 seconds left inside the hill. Only 20 required to call game. Still the first set of hills, by the way.
Dude, if they finish this out on the first set of hills, I don't think I've ever seen a game of hardpoint that doesn't at least get to the second set. There is a break coming through from Naikfuria. Contest as well. 25 seconds on the clock. Vanquish can still get it done here. This would be a phenomenal achievement from them. They've read the spawns for a Naikfuria as well. They know exactly where to look, and Axis is on the hunt for the kills. One player gets past. The rest of the Vanquish roster will get it done, and they've got out of the hill. They want this to last another hill. Guys, why'd you have to ruin the achievement? You could have finished things off. You could have been like one of the first teams in COD Mobile history to finish things off on one set of hard points, but you just had to let it go to a new one.
Well, given this is the not the first open finals, I'm gonna go ahead and just go on a limb and say this is not the steepest scoreline. Nor the first time it's probably gonna have an opportunity to close the first set of hills, but Marcuda's up to 36 eliminations. That's true. Axis also has an equalizer. That's unfortunate. Just nobody wanting to touch the hard point. Nobody wants the fun to end, it seems, for Vanquish. The only 5 players that want this to end is probably Naikfuria. They'll touch the hard point again, kind of forcing Vanquish's hands. Like, hey, you got to try to touch. They're just trying to go for a victory lap here with all their operators.
Yeah, why not? At this stage of the competition, you kind of know that you can maybe set some kill records here, even perhaps. They've got a kind of a world of game to play with for you not bothering to set records. They don't even wake up, you fucking fool! Oh my goodness me. I think, if maybe they're not set the record for the most indomitable game of Call of Duty, they've certainly set the record for the most amount of 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and 4 pieces we've seen in a single game as well. Perhaps the most amount of streaks in a single, I don't know. They're definitely doing something right now. Vanquish are trying to set records here.
Yeah, I mean, what, they wanted a pub stomp? They could have just loaded into a rank game, for crying out loud. Like, finally, game clock gonna start getting a little bit closer to 250 for Vanquish. They touched it ever so slightly, just need 4, but I think they're not done playing with their food yet.
Naikfuria trying to find a way back into this game. Technically speaking, it's still feasible, right? I mean, the clock stops when a team gets on the hard point, so theoretically speaking, Naikfuria could get this done if they break through and hold the hill and continue to do that without letting Vanquish in for 4 seconds of time. But still, Vanquish just don't care at the moment. They're just continuing to treat this like a practice session from the firing range. Naikfuria have a player in towards the hard point. Marcuda now bringing out off-meta weapons for the fun of it as well. The QQ9 brought out to play. Naikfuria, hipfire shots coming through from Leia. It's not enough to grab the kill. Marcuda will be the one to finish that kill off, and Naikfuria will continue to survive to another hard point. I'll be honest, proper, at this point, we're play-by-playing Vanquish just toying with their opposition.
Yeah, I mean, we're essentially, like, I'll call it a spade. Like, Vanquish just... You didn't win a single map of the last season of SPS, so now you're just going to play with your food in open finals. Like, touch the hard point. Close the game. Get on to the second map. This does nothing for anybody at the end of the day, just besides like your numbers. Nobody's impressed. It's 246 to 53. They're allowing Team Naikfuria just to try to get a couple kills, couple more missiles, couple more operators come through. There it is, 250 to 53. Hey, all right.
I'm proud. You guys finished the game.
I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. No, no, you sit there for a second. Like, I'm not impressed. You had that game 250 to 2 at a full score line, but you were like, nah, let's sit back real quick and get more kills. Nobody's impressed.
Yeah, I agree. I like they kind of took the mickey a little bit, right? Obviously, that's not what I would usually say in a setting, but we're professionals on broadcast, so we won't say what I would say. Again, they could have got that done. They could have literally got it done in a single set of hard points. They didn't need to go as hard as they did. I mean, again, it was just total domination. I don't think I've ever seen that amount of 2Ks, 3Ks, 4Ks in a single game consecutively like that. Just ever. I think I've ever seen that. Like, you can obviously, I know you said in the middle of the game, right, the open finals, like, matches like this aren't necessarily the norm, but they certainly aren't irregular. But still, I mean, like, this is absolutely insane. Like, the scoreline, obviously, at the end of the game won't suggest it, but that, I mean, there is probably a world where if they genuinely try even a little bit harder, that we could have had a 250 to 0.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, ultimately, they came out of the gates, just blew them out of the water. I mean, there was a certain point in time where, like, I think that it was like a 46 kills to maybe like 3 ratio. Yeah, 51 and 5 is just nasty work coming out of Gone. 45 and 4, everybody went positive. I mean, I guess for Lair, 19 and 4 had a crazy instance. What was that, like, back on the P2 hardpoint where he was like solo holding it himself? But golly, those are some heinous looking numbers on the opposite side. I'll tell you that much.
There's nowhere Leia only got 19 kills. He just literally sat in the hill.
It was all on P2.
Time. Oh my god, he's actually just sat in the hill his entire... Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if Leia genuinely got all 19 of those kills in a single hard point on that game. Just... What do you say? Analytically, there is absolutely nothing of value that we could bring to the conversation that you guys didn't just see there in that game. So we're not going to yap about it. We're just going to move on here. We're going to talk about Search and Destroy. That's what's coming up next in this best of 5. And this is a game mode where Vanquish can't take the mickey. They can't just play time. They can't extend the game out beyond its natural conclusion. You die and you go next. Is there a chance for Naikfuria to come back here in this game?
Well, when it comes to Tunisia Search and Destroy, even versus exclusive, we were pretty much ready to write off Aptoz for 250 to 29 was the scoreline, and they were like exclusive were trying to close out that game. So who knows? Tunisia Search and Destroy, again, a staple. Snipers need to be on point. Nades and other throwables need to be pretty darn good if you're hoping to get over towards A. Ceremonious as it ever is, so will be Naikfuria on offense first. Just trying to get some information over by A. They come up with absolutely nothing, so a standstill until Axis finds that first blood.
Oh. Trying to find a way back towards the site. Naikfuria runs straight out in towards A. Not able to do anything of actual value. And now Naikfuria all plugged up in one particular gap. Facing down Kirby. He will find the double with the Tundra. And now the Witcher noob is stuck. Come on, you're a Witcher. You've got powers. Just use them to get yourselves out of the situation. Well, there's some powers. Finds 1 kill. Good value with a Holger, but going to get shut down. And Vanquish not messing with the food this time around.
No, not at all. Again, I mean, it's round 1 antics on Tunisia. Gonna try to feel things out, I'm sure, if you are Naikfuria. Where are some of these utility being thrown? I mean, the trophy systems, albeit late, the nades were a little bit short. Didn't reach some of those back spots over by A, hoping to rectify that going in towards this round as players now going to reconnect. And Naikfuria is still thinking about A, thinking about just bull rushing their way through Wine, maybe off of Samuel's pick if he gets it. Nah, just a little wide.
Well, bad news for Naikfuria, not able to get anything off these opening picks. The good news is you didn't lose anything yourselves, so Naikfuria walk away from the engagement unscathed. Still looking for a way back into the site, and Kirby only needs an elbow to take Samuel out the play. Naikfuria now down a man, and are starting to face a threat in behind enemy lines as well. It won't be long before they're dealt with by Axis. Markuda and Gon are the ones to also open things up as well. Proper, this round's done.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, here comes the pinch. Name caught in the corner. Should get another freebie. Keeps giving it to him. Prize fighters, though, maybe trying to force out a timing. Other teammates nearby, and Vanquish will take a 2-0 lead. Yeah, it's it again. Like, once you throw away that initial pick, if Samuel finds that first blood, maybe some alarm bells might be rung for Vanquish to try to rotate over, and you might have been able to catch a free couple picks through mid if you are Naikfuria, but just giving away that first initial shot to no avail means you got to go back to the drawing board. Naikfuria not liking A. It's time to try and B.
Well, B push not going well. Met with immediate aggression from Vanquish, and we'll lose the first couple of bloods. Now Kuda in behind again, looking to close up shop here. They're on the hunt for the final few kills. Won't actually predict Lorita in the corner. So Lorita will be able to find one, but again, the value is so minimal. There's no way you can piece up Vanquish for the form that they're on at the moment. They are feeling themselves.
Always said, especially for Tunisia, I mean, for most search and destroy maps, it becomes very, very heavily sided towards the defense, but when it comes down to Tunisia, very difficult to just try to execute on one of these offensive sites, so Naikfuria gotta try to hold things out, and that's how you do start the process of executing a bomb site on Tunisia. Good name.
Snipe from Kirby is good, though. A 4v4 we go. Naikfuria makes his way towards the site. Kirby's on fire at the moment. 8 kills now for Kirby. Kuda's also having a whale of a time on this map too. And now it's left up to the last man on Naikfuria. Layer's on the hunt. And you gotta imagine Layer's not long for the world. Layer will close things out. It is all but a formality at this stage of the competition.
Even with first blood, doesn't matter. Not at all. I mean, there comes to a certain point in time where, like, I feel like even Naikfuria might have been surprised they got that first blood, albeit that nade's probably been thrown 100 times in the past 48 hours, but just gotta try to go at that point. No hesitation at all. Here comes some nades over top of A. Aggression through the middle of the map. I mean, Markuda, he's not here alone. He's got Layer. They're trying to get behind enemy lines within the first, what is this, 30 seconds? What?
I mean, this just keep on happening. Naikfuria have adapted to it, but you're just not winning the fights. It's a good effort here. Lorita trying to trade. No. Okay, I was going to say, Markuda walks away with the prize fight, a gunfight there, or fist fight. I would have been surprised, but Lorita is still finding value here. A couple of kills now for Lorita, trying to make the escape happen. On the run. Now we'll slow things up to try and catch some of these players off guard. Yeah, you're going to get hunted down. Vanquish have all exits and angles covered. Yet another round on the board for Vanquish.
Looking like a flawless half so far out of Vanquish. Team Naikfuria just trying to get their feet underneath them, it feels like. Kirby up to 8 kills, 6 for Gone, 5 out of Markuda. It's been a lot of aggression in the middle of the map, and it looks like both Markuda and Layer are not done yet. Kirby for first. What?
Dude. I don't even know. Kuda on the hunt for every single kill possible. The Witcher's the last one left alive and made extinct. 6 rounds on defense, 6 rounds won, and all Vanquish need to do is... I don't even want to use the word steal away run round at this point because it feels like it's basically rightfully theirs.
Like, it feels like they're getting, like, the first bullet, sometimes first 3 bullets. They're still losing the gunfights. 1 round is all Vanquish need. It's on offense, and they're assaulting A very quickly. Oh, Naikfuria not ready for this. Oh, gosh.
All right. Well, there is still one player that could do something in the situation. It's Lorita in the middle. Oh, just going to find one, but again, shot's not crisp enough. Leia will be able to trade things out. Now the players have to transition from the B site. Trades are good enough here. If you're Vanquish, it's the no-scope, the quick-scope.
Axis?
Something in between from Axis. And all that boils down now to Samuel in a 1 versus 3 to save this search and destroy. Shots out on towards Axis, and you know Axis is about to do something silly.
Are they just going to start sprinting at him? He definitely doesn't have enough time to be able to find these last 2 kills. Got Kirby in the clutch position. Bullets out of the it's tough. Has to go for the reload, and it's a 7-0 Vanquish. Just not playing with their food that time in the search and destroy, Brody. Just making sure that it was all business. Not a single round given up. What you got?
Let's go next. Let's go next. Let's just go to the control. I don't even know what to say.
Idea. I'm not gonna lie.
There's nothing to say. I mean, all we can literally say, and you will see this here in the package, is, hey, so Vanquish sent a couple of players through the middle of the map or through a flanking position every single time. And, you know, fair play to the opposition, because Naikfuria sometimes read it. They sometimes put players in a position where they can deal with it, but they just don't win the fights. Like, they just lose the fight every single time, and it always goes awry. They did not look like they could do anything in that game. Vanquish just waltzed away with a victory in Search and Destroy. Kirby didn't even die. Just went 9-0, just casually through that S&D.
Yeah, I don't know what else you want me to say here, man. 7-1 out of Axis. Wow, I can't believe you died. What the heck are we talking about? Lured across, like what we're talking about mostly, good corners being picked. It just comes down to these first bloods. And if you're looking for just some stark differences, whether Naikfuria stays together or not, just something to keep in mind once we start getting closer towards Challenge Finals. And the reason why this Vanquish team did struggle against the other top teams in the previous season of the Snapdragon Pro Series, it's the hesitation. Once they found the first blood continuously, they were pushing through the middle of the map, weren't stopping a single thing of the aggression through the middle of the map. You were showcasing too much hesitation if you are Naikfuria. Now we go over towards Raid. For a control map that absolutely loves to play super fast, I fear that Naikfuria are going to have a tough time.
I think it's fair to say that, given the scorelines of the first two maps here proper. I think that's a fair assessment, considering this, again, going back to the hard point, could have been a 250-0, could have been a 7-0 we're looking at right now. Could have been. It wasn't, crucially. It was for the Search and Destroy. But it wasn't for the hard point.
I'm still not
crucially.
impressed.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you, mate. But this raid control, I mean, like, again, it's difficult because you can never predict anything. It's never over till the fat lady sings, yada, yada, yada. But it feels like this should be a 3-0 the way that Vanquish are playing. I mean, like, again, so many of these matches do just come down to X team outslays Y team, right? And this is one of the situations where it was especially true on the hard point, again, with the amount of killing sprees that we saw from players on Vanquish, where this is very much a situation where Vanquish are outslaying Naikfuria, and if that happens here, offense or defense here on Raid Control, Naikfuria are not going to have a fun time. So tournament lives on the line, folks. This is the lower bracket. Naikfuria have to reverse sweep this best of 5 if they want a chance at qualification for the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Raid Control has been in the map rotation for quite some time, and you good, Minimap?
Smoke out.
Minimap's going crazy over there. There's no reason whatsoever that, like, you should not know this map mode combination. We've been watching this for quite some time. I mostly remember in the 2023 finals, this was played so often.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think this has been in this rotation for like 3 years now, right? This is the 3rd year this is in rotation, so it survived like 2 culls, so 2 switch arounds. So yeah, you should definitely know how to play this. There isn't as prominent of a spawn trap comparatively with the other maps, but there is still one. And right now, Vanquish are starting to put it together. A couple of players have slipped the net, but they are swiftly dealt with. Again, we can't really see the minimap right now, so we can't see those players that do get past. We can only see them by the X-ray. I don't think any of those players are getting past anyway. When Kuda is on this spree, it's 7 in a row for Kuda now. He's watching them spawn in and cutting them down just as quickly. Kuda is dealing with these guys with such ease at the moment. Final 3 players on the board for Naikfuria. Kirby gets it done with a Tundra. What do you got for us, lucky man, on Naikfuria? 27 kills, 27 players is what Vanquish end that round with. They died 3 times.
One team shotgun, other team did not. Bang. Analysis. I am walking in towards the second round with 3 kills. It's just nasty work, but you gotta somehow recollect yourself and go for a full-on defensive hold. That's exactly what Vanquish just did to you in, well, the opening gunfights, the opening salvo, other buzz phrases, didn't start off well.
Yep, this is a very different look here on the offensive side. Vanquish, aggressive, already starting to make progress, not just on one of the points, but on both of them. They've got pretty much every single, they have got every single gunfight in their favor. Finally, they will die. Which noob is going to be the one responsible for that? Can they get anything going from the basketball side? They should, technically speaking, I believe, still be there. I don't think they've died just yet. They pushed in towards Tiki. Couple of players on the point, and I don't think Vanquish particularly care about the objective at this point in time. They know proper they can get this one done with simply the kills. Lorita is still going to chill inside the smoke. Finally will get found out by Gon though, and all hopes and dreams of winning this round for Naikfuria, if there were ever any, are starting to disappear in front of their very eyes.
Just about everybody's got streaks besides Axis, but the way he's been shooting would probably argue that he doesn't need it. 5 operators, 1 life remaining for Naikfuria. And, yeah. So, Brody, if you're Vanquish and you're going in towards this potential third round, I don't want to say that it's going to be a third round. What's your win condition of choice?
For Naikfuria?
No, for Vanquish.
Oh, for Vanquish. Like,
look at one side of the screen and look at the other one.
Okay, I was going to say, because...
Pick one.
For Naikfuria, there isn't one. For Vanquish, there's, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 score streaks.
Wow.
I don't know if I can do 5, mate. I don't know if I can count to 5. I think there's 5 operators on side for Vanquish. There's now 4. There's a lot. There's a lot, right? I need to get my hands out and start counting. Vanquish have a lot of things to work with here, and Naikfuria don't really have any room to breathe whatsoever, because I mean, it's just a spawn trap. Do you know what the egregious thing about this is, right? This isn't even like the regular spawn trap you see on raid control. Right? This isn't even like you've got somebody in gym, you've got somebody watching the spawn, and so like you just basically watch them get out of garage. Right? This isn't even that. They're literally just chilling. Is that a nuke?
Yep.
Is that a nuke?
Yep. We got a nuke coming. Somebody hit up Bobby in buckets. We got a nuke in SPS. Bang! Okay, Markuda. I mean, you talk about calling game. I mean, I'm just, that's kind of nuts. Is that the first nuke that you've casted in Call of Duty Mobile? Because it's not the first one I've casted.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Like, I think we might have seen like one, but
you know what they say?
What do you say?
War never changes. That's gosh, that's a tough ending towards an open finals if you are Naikfuria. Here are the highlights from that map number 3. It was just, it felt like we loaded in and we got out of it immediately. I mean, just from round 1, the deficit was about 27 lives, and round 2, the life deficit was like closer to maybe 20 or something like that. But in the final round, where you had, what was it? You had to take your socks off to count that high, Brody. We were like over like 10 different pieces of utility, including operators for Vanquish to choose, and they just gave him the entire house. It felt like the end of Arsenal Hardpoint all over again. Just give him literally everything, every single streak, all the utility, get to that kill margin, call in the nuke from Markuda. Whew. I mean, their entire run ain't done yet, but that's still an impressive feat nonetheless.
I have nothing. I have nothing, mate. That just an insane 3-0. An insane raid control. I need some analysis. I need something. Lauren, help me.
I don't know how helpful I'm going to be in this situation right now. That was fast.
Yeah,
It was.
That's the analysis.
It was.
That is the official analysis, right? That's what we got. I mean, to be fair, we see this sometimes in open finals because with teams that have more experience, even if it's in the early portion, the early stages of the competitive side of FPS versus some newer squads, definitely those newer teams can be taken by surprise. But I think that before I have a fully formed opinion on what Vanquish can do, I want to see them go up against some more difficult opponents here and see what they can really bring to the region as a whole. They will continue on here in this lower bracket, and they will then wait to see who they'll be facing off against next. But I don't think we have the full picture right now, Brody.
No, we don't. Again, it's worth saying that Vanquish, albeit they've changed their roster slightly, and I'm impressed with the new additions on the roster from that matchup. Last season, they didn't win a map. So when they're actually in the Snapdragon Pro Series, they will not be able to do that versus pretty much any. I mean, it maybe, you know, maybe we're wrong, and maybe we get.
You said when. You said when they're in.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. If they get in, right? Yeah. Whatever. If they get in. They won't be able to do that, hopefully. I mean, maybe they will. Who knows? Maybe they come up against a team that also manages to get through and somehow we see an actual nuke in the challenge season. But no, we're not going to see that. Things will be very different for them. I am intrigued to see what an actual Vanquish roster looks like with actual competition to go against them. How are things changing from last season? Are they actually going to be competitive this time?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and 2 3-0s on the day so far proper, so we knew that these early stages could be pretty quick, but it looks like the teams that have that edge are wanting to just get in and out as quickly as possible and really kind of seal their next step along the way.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I mean, look, we now have back-to-back best-of-5 series. We have 2 teams that were in the previous season of the Snapdragon Pro Series, a couple individuals that do have experience in the format, versus other teams that are kind of getting put together to try to figure things out. These core individuals between Vanquish and Exclusive, they know what it takes to be able to play this game at a high level with each other. Some other individuals are trying to learn along the way. And I, much like how I feel like I say every single open finals, as cataclysmic as this ending was for both Aptoz and Naikfuria, there's a lot of individuals on both of those 2 teams that do have enough bright spots to be able to put together a solid team, get some practice going, and we might be able to see them back in open finals, because Vanquish, again, they didn't win a single map versus another top team, and you think that doing that in a open finals match before qualification is the way to go? Karma is a big old female dog, and you got to be careful about that because some other teams might come back to clap.
Listen, we are always looking for improvements from the end of the previous season to this one. The question will be, are those improvements as vast as they look right now, or will they falter when they are facing off against some tougher competition? Still lots of matches to go. You're only halfway through on the day, 2 more left around the corner. So we're going to send it to another short break. And when we return, match number 3 coming at you.
Me and my crew, yeah, we're lawless. Got the man them thinking that we're flawless. Yeah, mama told you that I'm gorgeous. Got a million tricks, can't deport us. I'm a flame in the star, call me gassed. Back foot slidey, I'm slick to the mass. Calling to the tribe, it's a revolution past. Present in time, no, we can't be masked. So you better rise up, collapse, size up, shout out loud. Down before the time's up, so we better rise up, collapse, size up, shout out loud. Down before the time's up. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tom beater. If you want beef, then I tom. 789, that's procedure. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tom beater. If you want beef, then I tom.
too good for you. Everyone wants a piece of this. Watch me drive up to the Hollywood Hills. Always dressed up in my high heels. Everybody wants to have my life. 'Cause this is my life. Yeah, this is my life.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We're heading into match number 3, and in order to do that, we've also brought in Ton back, gave Proper a little bit of relief. Chris, you were hanging out with us watching those first 2 matches. Give me your quick thoughts on what we saw so far.
You say give Proper a little bit of relief. He's only been working for about 20 minutes, so I think he'll be fine. Look, I mean, the kind of what we expected heading into Open Finals, but really excited to see things up and running again. I say kind of what we expected, but maybe not to the kind of degree to see a nuke dropping in a game, but irrelevant of that, yeah, excited to be amongst it and back into the season again.
Yeah, we're back for more Call of Duty action now. Match number 3 around the corner between No Name and Hexad. So let's start talking about these squads, because recognizable players on No Name to kick things off here, Brody.
Yeah, I think for both of these teams, you'll see it as well in Hexad in a second. You'll recognize a few names on this roster. I mentioned Lydia in the last series, actually. She's back from Season 5 Vanquish. Rondo and Melagilor are names that we haven't actually seen since Season 4, so nice to have them back. And then, of course, Kel and Balance as well from Season 5 Nexus. So this is basically a new team for Season 6, made up of a lot of names you'll have heard of before. The only one I've not heard of is the leader, so that is kind of an exciting thing to have a new player in the mix. I believe they have played with Lydia in the past, though, so there's kind of connections, a reason why they're on this team.
Yeah, and this is why we keep telling everybody at home to stick around here, Tom, because even if they don't recognize the team names, we see this a lot. We get a little bit of roster mania under new, team banners, and once again, so many recognizable players on Hexad.
Yeah, you always get a sprinkle of players who have been in and amongst it, don't you? Trying to make the name for themselves again, getting themselves to that top level. And that's kind of what we're expecting to come from that team. And on the other side of things, there is that sprinkling again. This, I think, for me, is at least the closest matchup we're probably going to have over the course of today. Potentially the next game as well. It could be a close one. But this one, we do have recognizable names on either side of the coin, Lauren. So should be a little bit more of a competitive affair than what we've seen over the last 2 games.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about that during the break as well, Brody. This will definitely be a change of pace here. I mean, you've got Gore on there, you've got Daytel. There are players that we've watched and talked about in previous seasons. So I think this one should be fun for everybody at home.
Yeah, after the last couple of games where they've been really quick 3-0s, especially that last one, I hope this is going to be a much more competitive game. And yeah, it should be, right? I mean, for all of these players across the board here that you guys have recognized, either on No Name or Hexad, they are effectively like mid-table players, right? I don't do that in a disparaging way, but like they have been players that have never been quite able to break into the upper echelon of European teams. And so both of these teams, I mean, obviously one of their journeys is about to end here, but both of them, basically qualify for those mid-table teams that are competitive and have been competitive in the past. So hoping for something a lot closer this time around.
Well, we'll take a look at the picks and bans, see what they're bringing to the table as far as these maps go, or if we're going to be seeing a little bit of what we've seen so far here in Ton. Hacienda Hardpoint, we're kicking things off with a classic.
I also just want to come in to ring the celebratory bell that Hackney Yard is no longer involved as well. So Hacienda coming in, though, more than happy to see that one. Kurahana coming up for Search and Destroy, quite typical there, but we will see Takeoff control for only the second time, but for the first time myself. Hardpoint Arsenal, yeah, we know that one. Search and Destroy Tunisia. It's very, very typical of Call of Duty Mobile, apart from the new one in the middle there, of course. So yeah, interested to see how it goes down. Both these two teams should know these maps fairly well outside of the control. Everybody really has played around this side of things on every single, I mean, if you played any Call of Duty, you played plenty of these, and of course Tunisia Search and Destroy is the tried and tested if we do get there. But yeah, it should be an interesting map set for both these two teams.
Yeah, again, like there's a lot of maps that are like the same from previous map sets, right? Like it's just like you're not going to see teams change things up too much. I'm just intrigued to see like when are we going to get us a first crossfire controller? Are we going to get one? Are we like at some point today? Are we going to get a crossfire controller? We've got NA later today as well, so I just want one at some point.
I was going to show.
You've been looking forward to that one.
Sorry, Lauren, I was going to show my age, and I don't actually know if Brody played it originally when it first came out. Did you, Brody?
I'm going to actually show my age and tell you that my first time playing Crossfire Control was in Modern Warfare Remastered.
Okay, that's disgusting. Okay.
Or Crossfire in general.
Oh, okay.
Well, now that Chris is going through an existential crisis, Brody feels a little bit better about it. Still dreaming about the cheesecake, though. Let's get into match number 3, okay? I want to see a back and forth here between these two squads, so let's just do it.
I'm excited for this one, mate. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it does go down. But at least, you know, we do get to see two teams that we are more aware of, who are going to put up a competitive game against each other. This is kind of the thing with the open finals. For the most part, we do get those games where they are going to be one-sided. We are going to see that kind of thing play out over and over again. Yep. But it will also give us an opportunity to maybe see some new faces come up. And that is the real reason that we do show this. A lot of people will be like, okay, well, it's just these games coming through. You know who's going to kind of make it through. You don't. Like, there is often teams who can come up and cause a little bit of a surprise. And that's what we're here for. This game, though, isn't necessarily that surprise, because at the same time, we have players who have been here. I think the surprise is for me is that all these players are down the lower bracket.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, I think a lot of it comes down to the way the bracket is set up. It's something we mentioned at the top of the show, right? There's no like pre-seeding involved with these brackets. It's literally just kind of you throw all of the 128 teams into a bracket and kind of hope for the best, that you don't get a mishmash of the best teams all in one quadrant, which is actually what happened this time around. And it's what's happening here, I think, where these guys have just kind of been unfortunate enough that they're going to face one another, and we won't get these guys, one of these teams, in the Snapdragon Pro Series this time around. And again, you know, it's worth saying, I do think if both these teams do make it, or one of these teams do make it to the SPS, to regular season, they will be like a mid-table team. Maybe they can go further than that, but that's kind of what all of these players on their previous teams have been doing in the past. So again, we're kind of sad that we're going to lose one of these two teams, but again, with the fact that we've got a competitive match here on our hands, hopefully anyway, is one. So
yeah, you don't want to necessarily jinx it too early. Interested to see how it's going to go down, though. I mean, obviously we have had some change up on the map set. We're not seeing a whole load of it here. We're seeing a little bit, though. But interested to see how it's going to go down either way. Either one of these two teams are going to come in with anything different from the larger bracket side of things, where they did now make it to the open finals. The open qualifier for both these two teams obviously didn't go as smoothly as they would have liked, but nothing better than a smooth transition into the open finals, like a Hacienda, a Hardpoint. I feel like I'm casting this game, this map in particular, every single day this week, Brody. I'm all over the shop, mate.
Yeah, I don't blame you, honestly. I mean, obviously you get to cast Black Ops 6 a hell of a lot more than I do, right? So you're going to get a hell of a lot more Hacienda Hardpoint than I do. But yeah, it's kind of funny. This is something I think we even talked about like late last year, that we're like, hey, Hacienda Hardpoint is like going to be joining Black Ops 6. So like we're going to get to see a lot of it across Call of Duty Mobile and Black Ops 6. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of this map. It's a classic, and it's one of the highest picks in Hardpoint for a reason. And it is, I think, going to offer us an interesting matchup here as we get into Hexad versus No Name, because again, the fact that we've got a number of names here that you guys will have seen in the Snapdragon Pro Series previously, they should know how to play Hacienda Hardpoint correctly.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Both these two teams, storied players throughout. We're not saying that these players are top of the table, but they are very much Snapdragon Pro Series level and quality when it does come down to the European side of things. It's a good start for Hexad as far as the points go. Rotation over towards P2 feels influential, as it so often does. 10 seconds remaining. They are going to pick up that scrap. The rotation already locked in for No Name. Some valuable time potentially on the cards.
And I'm wondering at the path that Hexad taken towards this hard point here. They're choosing to go through the stairwell and immediately face down by Kel. Going to get shut down. Yeah, I was curious about these back spawns here, Ton. Hexad seem to have acquired them. So really the question for me is how quickly are No Name going to realize that's the case. A couple of kills do come through. No Name now need to react.
Push is going to come in from both sides. They get a bit of water control, but they will find all the gunfights through the front door. Kel will find two, though. That will stem the tide just ever so slightly. Push going to come in from the side, but eventually it's looking like Hexad will find a breakthrough. Rondo, the only one left, and well, surviving. Finding two on his way. Teammates now spawning over towards the back car park. No Name may have been forced away, but still have a presence.
Still fighting for this time. Pinstripe kill feed comes through. No Name looking for the back 25 seconds here. Of course, Call of Duty Mobile, there's that 8-second grace period between hard points, so Hexad will continue to hit this hill over and over again, and they've got the numbers to make this one work. Rondo left up on the Lamborghini and will actually manage to find 3 kills here, Ton, so that is a massive set of kills. It isn't still enough to carry through the last 10 seconds in their control. Hexad will grab that one, but that was a very scrappy hill on the whole between those two teams. And already you're starting to see No Name getting themselves prepped for that rotation.
Yeah, I'd imagine that both teams will probably come out with that a little bit disappointed. You've seen Hexad found the break after No Name had the rotation. No Name then get forced away and then still managed to hold on thanks to Rondo. Kel now bringing in the equalizers, trying to get something going here over towards P3. Already has found 2 to his name. We'll find another Now pushing forward. You can see already No Name continuously holding this one down. Back into the point they go. So an opportunity for some time. That's definitely going to help things as well as the Predator Missile comes through. No Name starting to get a little bit more on the board here and a little bit more control. And they're investing quite a bit here though, Brody. That's our Hexad.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those times, right? You kind of get those operators right off the rip. You almost have to use them immediately as well, especially with how scrappy the hill fences can be. You don't want to be giving away a wealth of time to either of these two teams. Utility being brought down across the board. That's a Predator Missile from Balance to try and keep Hexad away from the hard point, but that double from Fayaz is going to make things even more difficult. Majins will pick up what should be the final frag, final engagement in towards that time, and we start to move over towards the next hard point. No Name have the numbers here to work with, but look at Bouchon. Can he do anything? Nope.
See if they can find something. Yep, not going to happen for Bouchon. Balance inside of the point, and maybe expecting a little bit more out of players like Balance for this No Name roster, right? I mean, that's the one that immediately my eyes were always drawn to. We've seen big things from him in particular over the years, but right now, the one for No Name that's lighting it up. Kel, 22 kills to their name. Insane start, and well, for all those kills that they have found, they're only just taking the lead as far as the, well, slaying side of things have been going, well, it had been going great for No Name momentarily. Bouchon though, Purifier through the front door, he will find 3 and now will continue at 5. Was he going to make it 6? Yes, he is. Bouchon with the big plays, and 25 seconds remaining on the point. A big investment coming in from Hexad here to try and get some crucial time heading into the second rotation.
And the thing is, these spawns, they are not very reactive here in Call of Duty Mobile. So a player like Bouchon pushing through there, they know that those spawns are still going to stick, right? They know exactly where No Name are going to be and immediately follow up with more utilization from Hexad. So right now, off the back of that play, we see Hexad in a position about 20-point advantage over No Name. Can they continue that moving in towards the next set? Daytel has a nice double from him to try and get control of Winery. This hardpoint right now, all about keeping control of that upper side, making sure you're constantly keeping themselves aware of where No Name potentially could be penetrating the hardpoint from.
That's always a scrappy one, isn't it? ARs, down irons as per usual. And nobody really able to get that ultimate control. Hexad were picking up some time, but kills being traded across the board. Predator Missile now on its way in. Bouchon will find 2. That's a nice reward for the spree that he did go on beforehand for Hexad to find what feels like the first established lead of the game. Yeah, okay, they started pretty well as on top of that, but we're deep into it now. We're into a second rotation, and this is the first time a team are starting to stretch away. Lydia's the only one who can answer back to a kill there. She managed to take down Gore, and that will still be the rotation for No Name over towards P2. But Brody, last time they did have this rotation, they weren't able to hold on. Let's see if Hexad can break once again.
Yeah, and you kind of have to at this stage of the game, right? You are down by quite a large margin now, and that lead has grown to an exponential amount. No Name will win the first amount of gunfights, though, and there's those back spawns. You really need a player in the backline if you're a No Name to try and anchor those spawns through. The fact that they don't now has allowed Hexad right back in towards the time, an opportunity here to hit.
No Name trying to do something over towards the side. Yeah, okay, well, Lydia will find 1, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as she takes herself down. Bouchon, Fayaz doing what they can. Operators coming in from the side of Hexad as well. So there's big investment on both sides of things. It doesn't look like No Name have anything to try and retake. This is going to be impossible. Bouchon and Detail combining well. This is great timing. Still 30 seconds that could go Hexad's way.
Hexad continuing on, go around the front here with the Annihilator looking to piece up and now looking for more kills. To be fair, you don't actually necessarily need the kills, you just need to do enough here to keep No Name out of the time. This has been a phenomenal break from them and holding of the time away from No Name, now looking to do even more damage. Majins with the Type 19 will find a couple of kills to get it done. And once again here, Tom, we're in the exact same situation where No Name will be the ones to touch first on New, but they just have not been very good over the last few hardpoints at actually holding these down.
What can Daytel do? It was really feeling like a close game when we did kick things off, but Hexad are really running away with this one. Kel has started to slow down, and as that maybe invited a little bit of pressure onto No Name. Hexad doing a really good job here. Kel will find 2 though, so some time to play for over towards P3. 40 seconds remaining for No Name to try and close that gap, which is over 100 right now. Bouchon doing a really good job again. 28 kills. He's pretty much leading it outside of Kel. Balancer will find himself with the Purifier in hand, starting to make the move forward, but the automatic repulsive from the side of Hexad Daytel doing a really good job. And they have found a way back through. 15 seconds to go here for No Name to try and get something on the board. But, Brody, it's really been one-sided since the second rotation. For me, No Name just seems like they have no punching power at the moment.
Honestly, I think it's just a massive difference in the teamwork over the last couple of hard points, right? It feels like Hexad as a roster, they're constantly keeping an eye on each other's backs and constantly watching all the different angles as a team. It does help, of course, when they have the individual efforts. That Purify shutdown is at the very least big for No Name on this rotation, but you need a plethora of heroics if you're a No Name. You need to hold this hard point for the full 60 if you want to get back into this game. That is a good start. All utility being utilized right now from No Name, they are throwing everything at this hill to try and keep Hexad at bay, but that kill from Daytel is going to make things awkward.
Let's see. Can No Name find a way through? Looking like Hexad, the stronger of the two in hardpoint, to say the least at the moment. And really, as I kind of just mentioned a second ago, it felt like at the first couple of hills, you're like, oh, okay, well, we got a definite game on our hands, but Mix will now find a couple that with the War Machine, and all of a sudden this one is just becoming more and more impossible for the side of No Name. Not able to string too much together. Yeah, okay, the slaying department definitely belongs to Hexad, but No Name haven't been too far away with it. Feels like Hexad are just finding those moments when they need to, and they are going to be mere seconds away by the time we head over towards the third rotation with a win in map number 1.
Hexad just a few seconds away. Feels like a mere formality at this point. No Name just need to try and do something to keep Hexad out. I don't know what that is at this point in the competition. Hexad just need 5 more seconds. They've got a player in towards the time. No Name, you've got to jump in to try and prevent this one, lads, and it's just not going to happen. Hexad, I mean, it feels like a story that we've seen a lot in Hassi and a Hardpoint. We see it pretty often in Call of Duty Mobile. I'm really not sure what the exact reason why, but sometimes you'll see teams like play extremely close in the first set of rotations, and as soon as you hit the second, one of the teams will start to play like they actually should be playing, and that was the story of that game where Hexad just kind of learn how to play in the second set of rotations as a team, just constantly hitting, constantly keeping an eye on each other's backs in the hard points.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of just a Call of Duty thing, right? How many times we do see it where teams will go close over one rotation and then things will start to change up as soon as one team gets a little bit of a chokehold, gets a good hold, and then I think a lot of it kind of, the catalyst is always P2 on this map, isn't it? We so often we'll see teams pick up some good time there. We seen it was fairly scrappy. Honestly, I think maybe on hindsight, because of how well Hexad did in that second rotation, maybe the first rotation maybe potentially flat at No Name, especially the holdover towards P2. We've seen Rondo pick up the plethora of kills to manage to hold that one down somehow. And I think that was the only thing that was stopping Hexad from, well, being further in front at the turn. In the end, though, it didn't really matter. It was a very one-sided affair in the end. It was maybe expecting a little bit more out of No Name, but we still potentially have 2+ maps to go, so let's see what they can bring to the table. But Hexad will be very, very happy with how that one went down, and especially here in the lower side of the open finals, going up against solid opposition in the side of No Name. You look at the names on that roster, very, very, I don't want to say necessarily storied players. I know I used that word before, but they're experienced. They've been there multiple times, and you just absolutely bodied them in map number 1.
Yeah, and it is disappointing, right? Because actually there are names on No Name that in the past I would have said, like, yeah, these are the names that you need to step things up a little bit, right? When required. Balance is one of those names. I don't know if you remember, like, all the way back in Season 4 when Balance was actually a substitute for Omniscient when we were in Poland.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, Balance would show up and he would do extremely well. And I don't think there's ever been really a performance like that since then. Actually, a relatively similar story from Mirage Lior as well. Another player there in that game that didn't have the best of times, where it's just like back in Season 4, Mirage Lior did a really good job, showed up when required, didn't do enough for the roster to get them through to playoffs, but certainly did enough to keep them in the conversation. And it's players like that I do think they need to step things up. I know that's kind of the obvious thing to say here, considering they were the bottom of the leaderboard for No Name. But again, if they step things up there in that hard point, it certainly is at the very least a closer scoreline than that.
Yeah, it is. I think we just had expectations heading into that one of it being, well, okay, if it went one way in a comfortable direction, you know that a team had maybe practiced a little bit more, they really maybe been putting a little bit more time in, but that was pretty dominant from Hexad. So let's see if that's going to be the same vein when we go into the search and destroy. I mean, obviously an absolute change of pace. I think for No Name, they had a couple of players that did pop off and have a couple of moments. You're going to have to do that a little bit more often in the search and destroy if you want to walk away with a win. We go over towards Kurahana, of course, the search and destroy. And the snipers are going to be so influential here. Keep an eye on the mid-map and how teams are going to try and find the information there. It's going to be about picks for the most part to see if they can find it and try and make a move on that attack or defensive side. Always is just going to be all out warfare down one side of the map. That is quite often how it does go down. But yeah, really looking for No Name to step it up here, Brody. And that's not the start you want to see. Miragely are already dealt with. First blood over towards Hexad.
And the numbers for No Name here on the defense, though, towards B. Well, at least keep this site secure for the second. No Name also have a couple of irons in the fire, as it were, for potential reaction here on towards Hexad. But by doing so, they've actually weakened things on the site. Here come those entry kills. Fires and Daytel will win the engagements. And that repositioning from No Name was not helpful in the end. You're now only looking for some kind of clutch up from those individuals.
Tough spot to be in. And not necessarily the best of positions. They are together. And that might help them out if they can find at least, at worst, a trade in their favour. Shot's going to come through, though. Oh, Mix will find the first one, and all of a sudden, the round is done and very much dusted. First round goes over towards Hexad. As kind of convincing as we see map number 1, only one kill over towards the side of No Name from Rondo, who, well, was one of the glimly shining lights in map number 1 for the side of No Name. Can they try and find a little bit more? Of course, No Name on the defensive side. Hexad already finding an attack is not a bad way to start the search and destroy.
I will say for No Name, at least in that round, it felt like a lot of the issue was the fact that they'd weakened themselves in the defense. They had numbers to hold onto the site. They opted to change things up, and Hexad took full grasp of that opportunity.
Right, mate. Oof. Shot was there, but we'll just skim the hands of Rondo. Still recovering. Well, back on down. Hexad not being given the luxury this time, though, Brody, of finding that easy first blood, which really did open the map for them. Lydia maybe there to find it, though. He doesn't get spotted, can't find it, and Minx is there to find the kill. And now, all of a sudden, this side of the map is wide open, Brody. No Name have to scamper themselves over here very, very quickly. Hexad ascending very quickly. Kel can find 2. Make it now a 3 versus 2, still in Hexad's favor, but a more doable situation for the side of No Name.
I just feel like this round has been filled with missed opportunities. That little chow there from those two players, and then, of course, Lydia earlier on. And this might well be another one, right, where Miragely are getting outplayed by multiple players on Hexad. And yeah, it feels like No Name are getting to the precipice of these opportunities, right? They're getting themselves in these positions where they can do something and not actually doing anything with them. So they're setting themselves up for success, but not actually following through for these first 2 search and destroy rounds. They can change that here. Their fortunes might well change as well. This is it. Balance has a lot to do by this streak.
Pressure going to come in, and well, yep, he can't do anything if he's dead. His head well and truly taken off by Gore. Hexad fully in control of this site. He maybe want to try and do something pretty quickly. If you're Kel, you've lost Miragely. As soon as you really came anywhere near it, Kel actually doing a good job finding 2. Daytel will find it, though, and all of a sudden you're left on your own if you're Lydia. This is a whitewash so far. I was trying to remember what Hexad, the actual name, reminded me of it, but it's Hexclad. You know, the pans. That's what I was thinking. And right now, Hexad are absolutely frying. 3-0. You know the one sponsor, you know, Gordon Ramsay's always got them on his Insta, mate, yeah?
So old. That's the most middle-aged thing.
What I mean, what do you want me to...
I don't know the brand of my pan. I just bought it. What do you mean?
You telling me you've not seen the Hexclad? Anyway, besides the point. Maybe it's a different algorithm to yours. I mean...
Yes, it is.
Just Marvel bed sheets on yours. Here we are. That was unnecessary. I apologize.
Was it? Yeah, it was. You can't be throwing strays like that. Frame 1.
My little blink kill, and all of a sudden Hexad are running through No Name again. No amount of celebrity chef endorsements will help them at this stage. Hexad looking solid. And Miragely cannot really get anything going at this stage. 1 versus 3. Sniper in hand. Yeah, Tundra might be the best weapon in the game, but hey, let's see what you can do here.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. That is like so unfortunate. You hit a little bit more to the left there. You get that kill. I don't think there's actually an immediate trade from those last 2 players on Hexad as well. So that is a plausible situation. I will say that is like one of the first rounds. We were taking the mickey a little bit, but that's one of those first rounds where it feels like No Name did just straight up get outslayed. They weren't kind of slipping up against Hexad and giving them away. That's a hell of a start, and something we've seen previously from Mirage Lior, an off-meta weapon to open up the round. I'm pretty sure it was Mirage Lior using this in the past as well. So that is like a Season 4 throwback, because that's the last time we saw it play, but he's done this before. Hey. He's still doing it!
Picking heads. Maybe this was the problem. We weren't using the off-meta weapons. Right now, for what feels like the first time in a long time, Hexad are at a disadvantage, but if only momentarily. Now a 2 versus 2. They'll have to back on down. Cost themselves still on the attacking side of things. They will pick the bomb up and have the open map to kind of do what they want to do here. Looking like a push over towards A is on the cards. We're actually on balance though. I mean, look, again, we sort of speak about this on paper. These guys have had that experience. They've been in the league. They have been at the top level, at least in Europe. And well, we're not necessarily seeing that top level right now, but here's an opportunity to maybe put yourselves on the board. Nades over the top, not quite good enough. Mirage Low with the MK2 in hand. Get from number 3. We'll have number 4 as well to maybe just solidify this one. Gore can find one. Mirage Low with this weapon in hand. He's a dangerous, dangerous man, Brody.
Surely no way. Surely no way! Mirage clutches that up. That's insane. I gotta know the weapon. I have to know. It
was the MK2, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Mirage Lior, the only man in Call of Duty Mobile that can bring the MK2 out and actually do something with it.
Well, maybe that's all they needed, Brody. I mean, if he puts it away now, it's a minor disappointment. No, he's not. He's keeping it out, of course. Let's see how he can do this round. There may well be an adaptation from Hexad on that one. MK2 obviously working out very well in the middle of the map for Mirage though. Let's maybe just not go anywhere near him. But that's now going to run us into Lydia, who will find 2. This is more like it from No Name. Can you find something again, Mirage Leo? He's got the snapper with it. Gore will find 1. Mirage Leo around the corner does have a little bit of backup. And they will be able to find this kill. Not before Gore was able to find 2 himself, though. Shots are not there. Mirage Leo will find the final kill again. All right. Maybe some hope. A glimmer. There's a little spark inside of me now, Brody, and I feel as if Mirage Leo is carrying the banner here for everybody watching of what we want to see. Some competitive games and a little bit of fun. Frankly, Observer, why are we not watching Mirage Leo?
Honestly, watching Mirage Leo right now, I don't know, I'm getting like the vibes of, you know, the head, like, food critic in Ratatouille when he eats the ratatouille and it's like he goes back to his childhood. I feel like I'm going back to Season 4 right now. Watching Mirage Lior do silly things. He's doing it again. I don't know. I really feel like Mirage Lior knows something about the MK2 that we don't know.
See, you're now making kind of chef jokes, and I'm not calling you a boomer, so I don't know how you managed to get away with that one.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's older than Hexad. Anyway, besides the point. Go down this left-hand side. I feel like we're maybe in a lock-in. It's 4-2 now. We've got a game on our hands, especially if Balance is going to find that kill. 5 versus 3 now. In the favor of No Name. This bomb is going to get stuck down pretty quickly. I mean, should everybody be using this? Well, apparently not. Bouchon will find that kill. It is now left all on his own against 4 members of the side of No Name. This will be a real dagger to the comeback that seems to have started. 30 seconds to go here. Bomb is down, and for Bouchon here, this is just an impossible task. Lydia will come in to pick it up. That is another round over towards the side of No Name. They were 4-0 down. Mirage Leo pulled out the MK2. It's now 4-3. You do the math.
There's no other way to slice it. Mirage Leo is the X factor right now with the MK2. I don't know how many of those 8 kills have been responsible down to the MK2, but I gotta imagine it's the vast majority of them. Aggression from No Name here at the start of this round. They want to overwhelm Hexad and get the 4th round here in a row. It is not happening. Mirage Leo, though, crucially, is still alive in the round, so there is still hope for No Name here. No.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, you just can't give him a second, though, can you? Gore missed 1 bullet. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to miss another. Now Kel left on his own. 1 versus 2. Not necessarily in the worst of spots. Wouldn't mind the bomb. We'll probably have that opportunity as well. But Hexad keep themselves together. Gore and Fayaz back to back, as so often is the player when you are left alone in a 1 versus 2. Kel all the way around the side. Gora is going to spot him out, and that is now going to give some information. You can already see that Fayaz is on his way back.
Smoke out.
Smoke's not going to help you here because Gora's pushing. Kel only surviving momentarily. Gore will find it. Hexad finding around to, well, maybe steady the ship there, Brody. That was 3 rounds in a row over towards the side of No Name. Hexad eventually get their 5th.
And I actually like the call, right, from No Name that, you know, they know at this point just change pace a little bit. Full hit the A site, and it just unfortunately falls apart, or the B side, excuse me, it just unfortunately falls apart as soon as they lose those first couple of bloods. Actually, we're not able to clutch up this time around, and I think they've learned their lesson somewhat. This is a significantly slower effort. Lydia through the middle of the map gets picked up by Daytel. The trade, though, from Rajlior is good. So No Name still got a footing in this round, but the slow play has led to a situation where Hexad now have full map control. Gore hitting snipes left, right, and center now as well. How many of these kills can he get?
The X Factor has been dealt with. Well, so you think Rondo will be there to find the trade, as will Fayaz. 3 versus 2 now in the favor of Hexad. Well, Balance is playing a really nice position. That was, well, apparently well known. I think he could have caught somebody off guard, but must have been called out before we got ourselves over there to his POV. And Kel left alone again on his own. And this will be the 6th round for the side of Hexad. 7, of course, is the number they're after. Under the site, did he see Bouchon? Absolutely not, because the bullets in his back will tell you the story there. Hexad, 6-3 to the good. And the steadying of the ship, well, that ship is very steady now, Brody.
Yeah, it feels like, what was it, 3 rounds on the bounce from No Name. Hexad have definitely stopped the bleeding now. And No Name don't really have any tricks up their sleeve, right? They've already changed the pace up once. Doing it again might not necessarily lead to success, but they know where Daytel's going to be coming from. That prediction from Lydia results in a frag. Balance with a set nade. They don't imagines as well. Bouchon's in trouble. He's being hunted down by these players and gets outplayed by Kel as well in the 1 versus 1. This round has fallen apart for Hexad.
Yep. Really good job from No Name. Lydia finding that good fight towards the backside, of course. And another to solidify the round. There you go. 6-4 now. You're getting into that realm of an overtime possibility. Which, well, after the first 4 rounds, Brody, I didn't think was on the cards even remotely. And yet here we are. So it's either time for Hexad to lean forward again, or have No Name got their number? A lot of utility going over towards the B side for the side of No Name. Oh, and that's just not the way to get it done, though, is it? Kel through, well, I'm not sure what route will be falling. Balance, though, will find a kill to answer back, will be traded himself. So 4 versus, oh, sorry, a 3 versus 3. Now it's Marejlio making it 3 versus 2. No Name, it's in their favor. Minx and Fayaz now need to find something against 3 players of No Name.
Nade unsettles Rondo. You said that kill goes through. Flanking player now from Fayaz. This is a couple of 1 versus 1s. Lydia flanks onto Magians. Fayaz should be able to trade this if he's quick enough, but I think he's taking this one slow. It's going to allow Lydia to escape. One will go down. Fayaz, surely going to catch Marejlio. Yes, they do. 1 minute on the clock now. It's time for a classic 1 versus 1. And a route now being taken here from Fayaz all the way around.
For Fayaz, it was just a case of re-wrapping, wasn't it? Went on the re-flank after his teammate dies on it. You were not expecting a second person on that side, but now Lydia left in a 1 versus 1 against Fayaz, who will be able to solidify the S&D. Hexad, if he can find this kill. Lydia walking around. Oh my goodness me. Yep, you're in the corner. Hexad will close out the search and destroy. 7-4. Find themselves 2-0 up in this series, Brody. A little bit more of an entertaining map than we've seen in map number 1, though. There was a potential comeback there for the side of No Name, but it was to no avail in the end. Hexad in a commanding position here in this series.
Yeah, it just feels like, you know, in the middle of the game, right, No Name gained some confidence. It was like, 3 rounds in the row towards the end of their defense. But I think, you know, again, as soon as Hexad caught on with what was going on, they kind of regained control of the steering wheel, as it were. They did manage to close things out. I do actually genuinely wonder how much of those 3 rounds won can be attributed to Marejlio bringing out the MK2, because I'm pretty sure it was like immediately as soon as he brought it out, they started getting kills and they started winning rounds. Maybe that just kind of scared off Hexad somewhat. But yeah, Kurahana is always a really weird one. It's always so difficult to get onto the sites, but once you do, it's difficult to get back through for the defensive side, and I think Hexad showed that there through the first 3 rounds.
I mean, you could definitely attribute it to at least a couple of rounds, right? I mean, that 1 versus 2 that he pulled off, I think he found maybe 4 of the kills in that round as well. Would it have been possible with another weapon? Absolutely. Do we really need to read into it that much? Probably not. We'll just give him his plaudits, I suppose. 10 and 8 from the side of Mirage Leo and the MVP for his team. It wasn't enough, though, to find the win up against Hexad, who are now 2-0 up here in this series. Kurahana will go their way. 12 and 7 for Go on the sniper. Kind of counteracts Mirage Leo, doesn't it, a little bit, and that just shows the levels that there are and have been in this series so far. To be honest, Brody, it has. I think that map was kind of what I expected going into this. You know, a little bit more of a closer affair. Map number 1 was a bit of a blowout. Well, maybe the first 4 rounds of map number 2. But now we're going to be heading into a control on a map that, well, how practiced will they be on? We're not 100% sure. Of course, Takeoff is playing very typically like a control map will play on Call of Duty Mobile. Is this maybe the opportunity in for the side of No Name on something that is relatively new?
I mean, theoretically, this should be a close game. Like, theoretically, the way that Control works, again, especially with teams that are as closely matched as these two teams on paper should be, is that this should go to round 5. Didn't fact that it's obviously defensively sided, right? We'll see, though. You know, again, we saw this earlier on today. We expected it to be a close game, and it wasn't. It was a complete blowout in Exclusive's favor. So this could be one of the situations where Hexad, they come out on their offense, they manage to break out of a spawn trap almost immediately, and the game is basically done for a No Name. It's so difficult. I think the thing is, though, that it is early on, right? Takeoff Control is something these guys have seen in the past, so they should know how to play it on paper. But it's going to take a while, I think, for teams to actually get used to doing things on offense to try and get out of the spawn trap. So we'll see. There's still a long way to go in Season 6 before we see more and more Takeoff Control, more depth to Takeoff Control. For now, though, the aim of the game, get a team in a spawn trap and end the round.
Yeah, I mean, look, we see it so often in the regular side of things on Call of Duty Esports, how long it takes teams. All control maps are defensively sided at the beginning of the game, aren't they? When we start the season off, it's always that way. But then teams start to slowly figure it out. Find out where you're spawning, find out where they should be pushing, find out what's a little bit easier to hold or a little bit easier to get a hold of. It does make a difference. Balance will find a kill over towards the back side here. Hexad trying to get something going here. Can't quite do much if you're No Name, though, at this moment in time, because you are now starting to be forced back. And here we go. Spawn trap has been initiated pretty much immediately, Brody, and this is absolute nightmare fuel for the side of No Name. Disgusting spot to be in. I mean, how do you get out?
This is the neat part. You don't get out. 5 life advantage. Balance and Lydia will get a couple of frags. And just actually, I think I've kind of cast a curse the spawn trap. They do actually manage to get out, but bit of utility earned from Hexad will come down and almost immediately put No Name back in their place. Just one straggler manages to escape, and I think the fact that the Predator missiles down from the heavens should mean they know, generally speaking, where that player is located. But actually, Lydia's still playing their life, so the fact that Lydia is opening up a path here will be able to stop the clock 10 seconds on it, will at least give No Name a chance. But they're down to the final 5 lives. 5 seconds on the board here, ton for them to do something. Stopping the clock will be Mirage Leo over by 8. Can they do anything? Nope.
It's so tough. They got to touch over towards the B side as well, and actually managed to find a couple of gunfights. But for all that, my voice sounds like it's excited about what could happen. 2 versus 8 is not very plausible at this stage. Balance, Lydia, both good players in their own right. But you'll have to stop one wave of 5 players and then, well, another 3. Daytail will find Balance, and with that, will surely solidify the round. Go is, I mean, they're giving this over? I wonder. Now, part of me maybe believes that Hexad would rather attack if there's potentially a last round, but then
why? Why would
so much further? Yeah, well, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
What is the logic? I don't even know, dude. It's a 1v8. Lydia, hang on, hold on. If Lydia does this, I'm eating a whole cheesecake.
We need some crazy ideas to come out of your mouth. To be
I need a cheesecake, to be honest, mate.
Want to discuss what flavor, or is that another time?
Like a New York cheesecake would do me well right now.
Okay. Well, here we go. Lydia. Well, okay, she's found another 1 versus 5. I feel like Hexad are playing with their food a little here. 22 Lydia.
No.
Yeah, okay, they are going to shut that down eventually. I feel like they were to a certain degree and maybe got a little bit scared when it got down to 4. fair job from Lydia, in fairness. Finding, well, a streak. Has our operator up and running as well. Maybe not the round. Hexad have done the job there, but yeah, it's a curious end of the round, Brody.
I don't know. I would love to talk to Hexad about the end of that round. I don't understand it in the slightest. And they are having well better fortune here on the start of their offensive round. They're immediately forcing that Predator missile out of Lydia, and it will land onto B, followed up with kills from Rondo and Lydia herself. So No Name do, generally speaking, stabilize here off the start, but Hexad had a much better fortune. I do wonder here, with 4 operators on the board, whether Hexad would decide to full send it and actually get those operators out. Honestly, I want to see it. You're getting kills, bring those operators out, get something going to get a capture on A. Like, just use them.
I mean, this is a catalyst of what they kind of let happen towards the backside of things. Lydia is able to call in the Predator missile. All of a sudden, that puts you in a bit of a tough spot. You're forced back into your spawn. You're down on lives. So, have you given No Name an opening that you really shouldn't have? Oh, well, go. Yeah, it could do with hitting that. Third time is the charm with the Annihilator onto Lydia. Now, Go can move forward. A couple of players in and around him, trying to capture over towards A if they can, but it has been a scrappy round. No Name very much making a case to win this round, but a lot of investment coming out from the side of Hexad. A pressure now coming through. Second tick on its way. Lydia will find 2 herself, though. Magins finds 1. Now everybody else starting to fall as well. Faye hasn't got there to trade it, but it's a 7v10 in the favor of No Name. Make it a 7v9. This is a plausible round win, especially with 20 seconds on the clock.
Still starting to come through here for Hexad here. 17 seconds. Now down to the final set of lives. They've got 1 player pushed all the way through in form of Fayaz. Daytail's on the hunt for some of these players as well. Balance with the slide out. Not going to get it done. That's 3 kills across the board here for Hexad. Now down to a 4 versus 5. They're stopping the clock by getting themselves on towards A. That capture is going to come through. No Name now hoping to win this round off the transition towards B.
v3. It's in favor of No Name right now. Make it a 3v3, 3v2, 2v2. In the blink of an eye. Vance even shooting towards his teammates. But now for the side of Hexad, you're the ones that have to make the move. No Name can, by rights, just sit very, very tight. Let's see if Fayaz. Not much movement from his teammate, and that was because he disconnected, but here we are, we're back now. Agins is reconnecting. I've been calling him the wrong thing all the way through. My brain wasn't reading correctly, but here we are, 2 versus 2. We'll keep it locked in. Fayaz. Trying to make a move. Balance in front. Balance will find the gunfight. Is he expecting the second one to come from that direction as well? No, but Kel is, and No Name get a big round on the board. Defensively sided, yes, but one of those moments where they had to clutch it up, and they do so.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate there in that 2 versus 2 that Fayaz did, or Emergence, excuse me, did disconnect. I think they would have had a better chance if they would have not had to push through the launch center to make that one happen. I will say, though, there are moments in that round, and we'll talk about the post-game, where perhaps Hexad could have actually done something of note had they used their operators correctly as a team. Still got 2 in the bank, though. It's Hexad now on the defense, trying to catch wind of where No Name are going. Certainly have done so for the first play, and we're actually, although, going to bring out that Annihilator to do some damage, and is immediately shut down here. It is a scrappy start for both of these 2 teams. That will favor No Name on the whole, though, because they're not currently in a spawn trap.
Yeah, Balance has managed to find himself a route out of the hellhole that is this spawn trap, and he's probably gonna have to help his teammates get out of it. Oh, never mind. Mirage though, MK2's out. That's 3 in the blink of an eye. Will that be the 4th? Lydia will be there to pick up the pieces though. The trade comes through. Magic's just just trying to hold this down. Kel, big gunfight again. Kel is definitely being one of the potential people that can get No Name over the line in some of these certain situations. And they're not just getting over the line, they will momentarily kills up there. Kel will get taken down though with equalizers in hand, and that's not necessarily ideal. Rondo now with the claw finds very little as well. And we talk about the top teams and what they do well, and that is find a lot of efficiency with their operators. And you found very little there for No Name. Big investment here from Fayaz actually just to solidify the round with 8 seconds to go. So respect being earned by No Name in that round. To make that call have to become through. Touch is not going to come through though, and Hexad will find another defensive round there, Brody. But a lot of investment from both 2 teams.
Yeah, and it is the difference in investment right now. I think you saw it there with the equalizer at the end from Hexad, right? Where it's just like you managed to get 3 or 4 kills with those things. On the other side, we saw multiple instances in that round of No Name bringing an operator out to play and finding, what, 1 kill? I think it was like, what, Mirage Lure at the start of the round. to not really do anything with their operator. Like, there's just been a lot of that for No Name at the moment. Now we need to see on the defense, business as usual for No Name. Balance is on the hunt for some kills with the Purify. He's got a couple of players. Backs turned to him. It's a really long-range fight to take with the Purifier against Gore, having to play their life and is not able to get it done. So there's yet another shutdown, right? Balance brings out the Purifier for 1 kill and gets shut down immediately. Now the kill feed lights up blue and No Name are in trouble.
Yeah, and Lydia are actually bringing out the Sparrow as well. I mean, it's not necessarily ideal. You haven't found a great deal, but to be honest, I think Hexad have brought out a couple of things as well and haven't done much with them. Now down to 2 operators themselves, lives and time in their favor. Kel will get taken down as well. A now starting to tick up a little bit quicker. Balance gets taken down. Fairs could have found Rondo. That might have been Curtains. Go though, keeping the pressure on. Can't find the second. Rondo once again just hanging on by a thread for No Name. Rajleo now with the MK2 out again, causing issue every single time we see the kill feed. It seems Rajleo finding something. Not quite captured though. They nearly got a hold of it, nearly extended the time. They still have 40 seconds just due to the fact they won the points, but they're now being forced back. Hexad were in control of this round. All of a sudden, backs against the wall.
It feels like this round has definitely slipped out of Hexad's hands. They have got 2 ticks of progression, though, so that's something to talk about. If they can walk away with this round with a third, I think they'd basically guarantee defense for round number 5, which is effectively all you want in this situation. But this offensive win is still not out of their grasp just yet. You are unfortunately losing some of the players, though, and it's forced a player like Majins, who had made a move all the way towards the B zone, to retreat back towards the middle of the map to help the last remaining teammates out. But they're being hunted down at the moment. It won't be long before Lydia joins in the fun behind enemy lines. There goes one. Lydia will close things out for the second. And now it's all down to Bouchon. 1 versus 6. There, we saw Lydia early on, and it was at 1 versus 8. So perhaps Bouchon can do it.
Not going to happen.
It's not over yet.
A little bit of a threat from Hexad there, but I'm pretty sure they solidified the defensive side of things for themselves, which has been the ever important factor. Now for No Name, can you find a way through here? You've had 2 goes at it. You haven't really scratched the surface of finding an attacking round, so Hexad will be very happy in the position that they are in right now, Brody. And this is to close it out, right? You need to see Mirage and everybody else on the team combining well. Kel with the equalizers out. What can he do? There's 2 kills to his name, making a third, just about to come around the corner in Bouchon. And now all of a sudden, I bet he wish he still had the equalizers. Kel in a really good position now. Starting to chip away here, Brody. Dangerous position for Hexad to be in.
And the spawns on this side of the map don't work anywhere near as well as they do for a spawn trap on the other side, though, right? Because the players spawn in towards that corner building, so they have protection as they spawn up. They have another route out of the spawn trap. No Name, though, have done a really good job off the start of this round to actually do some serious damage against Hexad on the offensive side. And off the back of that, they've been rewarded with a shot at B. That goes awry. Lydia now with the Sparrow. What damage can they do? Lydia finds 4, and it's keeping No Name in the conversation once again for this B kit. It's the follow-up kill's going to be here, though. Mirage can't get anything done as Daytel doubles up. No Name are struggling at the moment. They might well have a massive life advantage, but there is still only 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but if they keep slaying out like this, they'll get the job done. Feels like Hexad of it, well, somewhat stemmed the tide. Not like No Name are running away with this one. Fairs will push forward, find absolutely nothing. You are right. No Name have to do something about B. They've got 4 members over towards that side of the map, actually. They are already capturing it. Can't Daytel do anything about it? He's already found 2 through the front door. 20 seconds to go. If you're No Name, you need to find something. You have the advantage, but that time is whittling down.
Just hoping they can get it done in kills. 10 seconds, though, as you said. It's time to go right now. Finally, they're going to stop the clock by putting player number 2 on towards B. It's Lydia. That's going to send all of these Hexad players running right back. Annihilator coming out. Purify coming out as well. Can they find any value? Bouchon finds 1 with the Purifier. Gore not going to get anything done with the Annihilator. Now just down to Daytel, and they get shut down. No Name get it done in round 5 on offense fire kills, and they will survive to see another map. First, 2-1. We're not going to be done in a 3-0 today here, Tom.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think for Hexad, it felt like they overstepped a couple of times. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, we're going to win it. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. But some really good investment from the side of No Name actually makes a big difference. And again, I kind of mentioned it throughout the control there, that when we talk about the top level teams and what they do well, efficiency with your operators is so paramount to finding wins. And we've seen that at least in one round from the side of No Name. And that one round was the only attacking round that we've seen with a dub. They will find it, and well, they find the win in the attacking round at the crucial time, don't they? Just felt like in that final round they got so much more out of it. You've seen 2 get pulled out from the side of Hexad in the final 10 seconds when they were down to no lives remaining, which at that stage, I mean, you've really got to not just find value, but you got to clutch up as well. It's not just a case of finding a couple of kills, forcing them back, and you know, okay, reset. If I die, it's not the end of the world. I found 3 or 4 kills. Great. You die, the round's over. So you're putting that pressure onto yourselves. Would it have been better used? I'm not too sure if they had it up and running at that stage, but I mean, actually, yeah, I do know if they had it up and running. They had 4 operators whilst they still had lives left. So you tell me, Brody, why are they not getting called in?
Yeah, and I will say as well, I think the point that they actually lose that control, if anything, yeah, you shouldn't be losing a round 5 on defense, but actually a couple of points there. First of all, I don't know why you're giving Lydia so much room to breathe in a 1 versus 8 to the point where you give her a free capture, right? And it doesn't matter in the end, but it's a small thing that it bothers me, right, when I'm looking at it. The second thing I'd say is, right, because of the way that Hexad dominated that first round, they actually go into a round 2 offense with 4 operators. And we've said this before, right? Especially in a situation where you're looking at such a defensively sided map like Takeoff Control, why would you not just bring 3 at least of your operators out? I would actually argue everything, like all 4 operators out off the start to win your gunfights, put a hell of a dent in the life differential between yourself and the opposition, and crucially, not get spawn trap at the start of the round. Again, these are things we've been talking about for a while now. These are things that other regions have, and we're going to talk big picture here for a second. These are things that other regions have figured out. It's things that when we get to the World Championships, when we look at other regions like China and Garena, these are mistakes those regions do not make. And this is why one of the things that Europe needs to take note of, even North America do it, like even lower end North America teams do it, right? Where it's just like, you have operators and you don't utilize them when you need to be. Just do it. You're going to get them back later on in the game anyway. You lose nothing by using them.
Yeah, it is situational at times though, like, but at the same time, I think that was kind of a good example of not using them in the right place. Right? Yeah. I mean, scenario was, you had lives remaining. I believe you had a minimum of 3 operators, and you didn't pull them out. You ended the game with a player with a purifier in hand and an annihilator in hand.
Hardpoint identified.
Then frankly, they got gunned as well. So No Name back into this one. Kind of surprisingly, I think when we went to that round number 5, we've seen Hexad on defense. I mean, I kind of chalked it up already, I'll be honest with you, but here we are heading into an Arsenal hardpoint, and all of a sudden there is hope for No Name. Hexad need to switch it back on pretty quickly, because that was not a pretty look on the control. But we said if there was going to be a potential for a route back into this game for No Name, it was potentially going to be map number 3, making us look, well, maybe smarter than we are, Brody.
Yeah, and if there was a chance at a game number 5, I said, you know, it was probably going to be this series, right? So there is still an opportunity for that if No Name kick things up a little bit, a notch in towards this next game. They've got a point on the board, so that's everything for No Name. Now they need to follow up with yet another game. Even though that's the case, this has been a very competitive start to this game between these two teams. Majins finds 3, though, turns around for the players coming off the spawn. That is great game sense to recognize where those players are going to be spawning. Great comms from the team as well. And it's a good reaction to those spawns, of course, means that Hexad will get first touch at New. An early opportunity here to take a solid lead.
Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective.
Good position to be in. No Name put that pressure on, though.
Predator missile inbound. Hardpoint.
The Magic's already bringing in the Predator missile. That's going to ease any pressure that No Name are going to put on. 55 seconds to play for here. There's one spawn towards that backside. Bouchon is already ready for it. Well prepared of what's going to go on here. Not prepared for the push from the front though, Kel, Lydia, both combining well. Not just for 2 kills, but the rest of the team there for the full wipe. So No Name finding a miraculous break here over towards P2. 35 seconds remaining on it. Close spawns for Hexad though. Can answer back pretty quickly.
Hardpoint locked down.
This is just so difficult for a No Name to actually do anything. Those back spawns are close enough for Hexad that they can continue to spawn up, respawn over and over again, and deal with No Name off the rip. And they're also sending players forward as well. I really like that little play coming out from Fayaz, even though he ends up falling. Just creates a lot of space for the players inside the hard point to breathe. And with 15 seconds left, you know you got to run a marathon to get across to New Hill. Might as well just go for it. So No Name will get first touch on a hard point for the first time in this game.
Can they do something with it here? Not necessarily the easiest one to hold, but if you can find a nice early opening like that,
Hostiles have the hard point.
does make it maybe a little bit more plausible. Bouchon will find a kill though to maybe open things up here. Daytail will get taken down. Trades across the board from both these two teams. Still a lead there for Hexad, but that's been cut away from No Name. But there you go, Balance bringing out the Purifier, finding very little with it. Lydia though, on the other side of things, will find something with the Sparrow. She gets taken down automatically by the side of Feaz, who is going to find a little bit of value there himself with the Equalizer, pulling them out in the middle of the fight. But ultimately it results in Hexad finding a break back, and that's 4 in a row from Magic's. Really good job from Hexad to try and find that break, Brody, but they've invested a lot to do so.
Yeah, I mean, actually, to be fair, I'd say that's a great investment, right? You know you've got to invest to actually get control of the hard point. That's one of those moments where it works out to perfection, but now you don't have anything moving forward. You get pieced up by Lydia and Rajlior, and it is going to be No Name that are right back in towards the hard point for the last 15 seconds. And it is worth saying, it is just the last 15 seconds. The bigger problem here, though, for Hexad is not that they don't have control of the scrap time. They do now for the last 5 seconds or so. But it's the fact that they are now given away the rotation towards No Name. We're already seeing early investments in towards this hard point as well. No Name, no. This needs to be a solid hold because right now they're down 40 points. If Hexad break through, this could get really bad real quick.
Cal could be a big reason they hold on to this. Equalizers in hand, gets taken down Bouchon. By Bouchon, I should say. Who, well, doesn't pull the trigger onto Lydia. No Name now starting to get their operators back. Lydia will find a couple and, well, take herself down at the same time. Potential pinch being set up here. You can see Bouchon on one side of things. Marginal doesn't land, though. Finds one. Goal will find one back with an Annihilator on an Annihilator fight. I'd expect that to be easier to say. Imagine's now through the front door as well, and here we go, the USS 9 in hand for Feaz, and it's still back and forth. It ultimately has led to Hexad getting control.
We've taken the lead.
The lead really hasn't changed that much off the back of this hill. No Name now once again in a position where they are spawning in Narnia comparatively to the rotation. Daytail looking for some kind of hold on that scrap time as well. No Name will break through for the last couple of seconds, but as I said, Hexad, they are the ones spawning in towards Newt. Couple of operators in the back pockets ready to go if they have to. Kills starting to come through from No Name, and they might be forced to invest something here, especially as now more is starting to come through. Feaz and Bouchon, the last ones left up. Bouchon stunned up. That is a perfect hit coming through from Balance and Rondo. And that was like 3 kills apiece from them, and now we're starting to see that investment from Hexad.
It has taken them a little while to warm up into this game, but they are very much here and fighting for a place in the Snapdragon Pro Series. Gravity Vortex gun is out from Daytail. Not a bad place to use it, but well, you need your teammates to continue to survive here. Second one going to go through. Will eventually find Mirage Leo. 25 seconds remaining here, and this would be a potential lead for the side of No Name. If they can hold down the rest of this time, the close spawns over towards the backside is going to help them. Bouchon, though, pushing up this left-hand side, isn't there? You go. 1, 2, 3 for Bouchon, and the break will come through from Hexad. Bouchon's just lining them all up. That's now 5, 6 in a row for Bouchon. Can't find the 7th. Rondo and Lydia there with the close spawns will get there rather quickly. But we're heading into a second rotation here, Brody. The game's basically all square.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, despite that incredible spree from Bouchon, that's not actually enough to fully take control of any actual time there. No Name will just about take the lead and get, what was that, like 30 seconds off the back of that hard point. So this game has been really scrappy between these two teams. Both teams have had their moments of holding crucial hard points, and both of them have had their moments of losing them as well. Hexad now going to be in control, though, for the moment here by P1. That is a yellow kill feed. Last remaining player, Feaz, tries to play their life below the window. It is a good effort, but gets shuts out for it. And now No Name again managed to break through, and Hexad are the ones spawning out on the other side of the map.
It's Balance again, starting to warm into this. I feel like I'm banging the same drum, but when we looked at these rosters on paper, I'm thinking to myself, you know, No Name have got those guys who have been there time and time again. Those guys that have done big things on the EU stage, as far as, you know, they're pushing for playoffs, they're causing upsets, they're causing problems for these top teams. They hadn't really shown that whatsoever through the first 2 maps, and now we are into map number 4, and it's very much on show. Hexad now. Last time around, they did have this rotation over towards P2. They ain't got a sniff this time. Feaz finding a couple, though, will possibly help that one out. Spawns towards the back should still be there for No Name. Kel once again with the equalizer. Doing good work.
And this is the weapon you need to hold these guys at bay. Checking all the different corners, reposition here. Of course, you've got to make utilization of the equalizers. You have to get something out of them, and only getting 1 kill is not that great. Now you've let the rest of the roster through. Lydia and Balance, though, fight right back, and just as quickly as No Name lose control now, Ton, they are right back at Hexad.
In a good position to keep them at bay here with the Claw. Annihilator was out from Mirage Leo as well. Just putting that pressure down. May well have not found many kills with it, but makes it a hard push. Fairs on the flank though, potential pinch hit set up here. You gotta look a couple of different directions. If you're No Name, you cannot. So Hexad will get through for, what, 10-15 seconds, but you've been flipped over towards those close spawns, which are not very close with P3, incidentally. You can see No Name now setting themselves up over towards this side of the map. A hold here would put them in such a good position to send us to our map number 5. Hexad last time invested a lot to try and bring this back. They've got 4 operators to try and do so again.
Yeah, that is the thing here. If you're Hexad, you want to try and use them if you can. More kills coming through though for Hexad, and yeah, I mean, you've got these 4 operators. Do you even need to use them? A couple do come out though from Gore and Majins. The latter has gone down. There goes the former as well. That is 3 operators from Hexad that do absolutely nothing, Tom.
Has it done enough to find the break back? I'm not too sure. The reinforcements from No Name were here. But once again, Majins has just had a free route down the left-hand side. Lydia will eventually find the kill. Gore is here to pick up 2. Mirage Leo will fall. Lydia very, very weak. Over towards this backside. The spawns have now been flipped out. But No Name still in control. They're very scrappy. Give them that. Hexad, though, will find a very nice break, though. There you go. That's a clean 4-5 down. And Hexad now will have an opportunity to rotate over towards the next hill and pick up this scrap time. But it feels sorely needed. They'll take an ever so slight lead. If they can pick it up, they are not going to be able to. It is going to be a trade of kills. Nobody gets it. No Name with a 2-point lead heading over towards P4. What a game this has been. These next couple of kills could be influential, though. You can see the positioning coming through from the side of Hexad. The shots are there. Rondo is very, very weak in the backup. It's coming, but is it going to come quick enough? Lydia can find one with a Sparrow. Potential break could be coming here from No Name. If they can find it, it's massive.
Surely no way. No! Goro lines up 3. Also got players in the middle of the map as well, as the Hexad have eyes on every single point of entry. One player, though, I think has actually just slipped the net here, so No Name could time this perfectly, which they get that player in behind enemy lines and also get the players around the front, but those players around the front are falling at the first hurdle. Mirage Leo, the only one to find any value whatsoever, but now that player from behind enemy lines is about to pop off. Balance, what do you got for us? Get shut down by Daytel. Absolutely nothing. And off the back of that, unless there's some kind of last hit from No Name, that is basically a full hold from Hexad.
That's a little bit more like it. They definitely would have felt the pressure coming in from No Name, who seemed to take a little bit of momentum from that previous map. But now, they haven't scored great over the last couple of hills in Hexad. Now running away with it. Going to be about 25 seconds away by the time we do pop yet over towards the final hill of this second rotation. No Name trying to find a way through. It could be through Mirage Leo. 20 seconds away now for the side of Hexad. You've got to go if you're No Name.
As you'll note it as well, flies through. Oh, it's so unfortunate. On the other side, though, kills being made by Hexad. They are just 10 seconds away from victory here. No Name spawning out on the other side of the hard point.
Yeah, they've got nothing to really get through, and here comes the Annihilator. Can you find anything here? If you go, they all line up. He doesn't find a great deal, but only 3 seconds to go. You've got to get a touch. If you're No Name, you don't get there in time. That's your season over. Hexad will advance on through to the next round in the lower bracket. We will say bye to Lydia and No Name. And that's a disappointing result for them, I want to say, Brody. Like, I mean, obviously disappointing to drop out of the tournament this early on, but going up against some strong opposition, not able to deal with them.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising in a way, the way that one went down, because it was a really competitive hard point there in that game number 4. Like, it was a super back and forth affair. There were moments where, you know, No Name were actually holding control of a couple of crucial hard points. There were also moments, I think there was one basically on the penultimate hill here on this very hard point, but on a later rotation, right, where Hexad basically brought all of their operators out and almost immediately got shut down by No Name. So there are bright spots for No Name in this hard point, I just don't know if that end was necessarily one of them. They just get shut out, and kind of I think it was ultimately the P3 on the final set of rotations that did do them in. They lose, what was it, full 50 seconds to Hexad, and at that point in the game, given how close things have been, how 50-50 a number of hard points have been, that really did feel like the dagger. So No Name, a competitive roster, and it's going to be sad to see them not competing in Season 5, but their road is done here. And looking over towards the stat lines for Hexad, you talk about kind of player names that we're familiar with, right? We see a lot of Gore, we see a lot of Bouchon, we see a lot of Daytail in the past. Fayez and Majins were the ones that were really kind of the question marks coming into this series for me. I don't think I got any more questions. Majins, 42 and 26. Yeah, I'm loving what we saw from him.
Really close back and forth. Like you guys had mentioned heading into that match, this was arguably going to be one of the closest matches that we had here all day out of our 4. And like you both mentioned, there were some moments that were really promising on behalf of No Name, but it was Hexad in the end who continues to move forward in this lower bracket. A tough, well-fought battle either way. And this is kind of what we were hoping to see a little bit out of some of the teams that have the experience here already in SPS if they're coming back to the open finals. You know, are we going to get that back and forth between some of these squads that already have the experience? And it looks like we're starting to see some glimmers of exactly that. But now we only have one more match left on the day, and that means 3 teams have already also been knocked out. I mean, this kind of happens pretty quickly for these squads here, Ton.
Oh, it happens super quickly. I think, you know, if you get put into this losers bracket, you know, you don't have any more opportunities. You can't make any more mistakes. You do especially probably feel bad for No Name. Like, you've seen some of the previous games that we've just seen. I think had they been lucky enough to get that kind of opposition, they could have advanced on through. But the fact that they're going up against Hexad, who are obviously a very, very decent team, they probably have a decent chance of getting to the Pro Series and getting to that stage. Still, it's a tough one to take, isn't it? You know, you drop in, and unfortunately for them, they go up against a solid squad. If you put them up against Aptoz or Naikfuria, then all of a sudden you're in a bit of a different spot. But yeah, they will fall on out, and Hexad will advance. But excitement for Hexad as well, though. You know, as Brody mentioned, a couple of players that we haven't seen too much of who perform really well, and not only perform really well, but perform well against players who have been at that top level in Europe again. So promising signs for the side of Hexad.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're hoping for every single time we come back around at the start of our SPS competitive season here for KADEM. Like, will this be the opportunity for new players to kind of get their foot in the door of this competitive scene? And you guys can see here on the bracket, if you're just joining us, we kicked off the day with that Exclusive versus Aptoz match. Exclusive making their way through, then Vanquish, both of those matches going 3-0. And we just finished up the third match of the day between Hexad and No Name, 3-1 in the favor of Hexad, which means we only have one more match left to go. One more team will stay alive and continue to fight, and then be waiting to see which of our upper bracket teams will drop down to have to battle up against each other for those last 4 remaining spots. So we still have lots of action over the entire weekend. So if you came in late today, don't worry, we're not even close to done. We're just starting the entire competitive season for the next 5 weeks after that, because then we have challenge season, then we have our challenge season finals. So loads of EU COD Mobile still to go. But before we get into our final match of the day, we're going to send it to one more short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we are in day one of our open finals for EU here for Call of Duty Mobile. 3 matches in on the day, our 4th and final match right around the corner between RHH and Restart to close things out. Let's start talking about them here, see what they've got to bring to the table, because similar to what we saw in our last match, we should be able to, or if you guys have been here before for previous seasons of SPS, recognize some of these players on these rosters. So let's start talking about them here. I'm assuming we'll start with RHH. Talk to me about him, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, this is effectively like Season 4 RM, Season 5 Ricey. Like, this is the roster that you guys will know and love from those seasons. I think it's like Rushes, Sushi, and Pump Fake are the returning players from that roster. So just like many rosters you guys will have seen today, there are returning players. Now, the interesting thing is here that they've actually brought in a couple of additional names that you also will have heard of. Aamine being one of them. Of course, he played on the Ultimate in Season 5. And the other one is Starika. So just like names that you saw in the last matchup, is one of those players that, like, hey, we haven't seen this guy since Season 4, did not qualify for Season 5, but did make a relatively solid impact when they played in Season 4. So honestly, like, this feels like an upgrade from Season 5 Ricey. Obviously, you know, getting ahead of ourselves here, they still have to qualify, as with every other team in the tournament here at Open Finals, but like, if they do, this is, I would argue, a more competitive team than that Season 4 RM, that Season 4 Ricey were back then.
And then on the flip side of things, we have an unknown squad, really, in Restart time.
Yeah, so we don't know a great deal about Restart. At least some of the names aren't necessarily ringing any bells in my brain, but there's a lot of things that go in and out of that. So yeah, but for me, it's one of those scenarios. Yeah, not 100% Brody for me on any of these guys. So
yeah,
interested to see what they can bring to the table. But I mean, this is kind of what the Open Finals is about and what the broadcast is about, right? We get these teams who are relatively unknown. Can they cause a bit of an upset? Usually the answer is no, but I'm open to being surprised here on this wonderful Friday night.
I mean, it'll be a good way to close out the day for sure if that is what happens. We'll take a look at our picks and bans as those are ready and see if they're going to give us any surprises here, if we're going to be seeing a little bit of the same for the last match of the day between RHH and Restart. We've seen a lot of the usual suspects. I was going to say we've been starting with lots of Haciendas, and that's what we're doing yet again, Ten.
We get Fire and Search and Destroy for the first time for me this season anyway, at least.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. There we go. We get it in. Love to see it. And I mean, this is, again, I feel like I've said this saying a lot when we're in Europe. It's pure Call of Duty Mobile heritage, this one. I mean, we literally have every single standard map that we would like to see. Summit is one of the hard point, of course, alongside of Hacienda, Fire and Range Raids, and Tunisia to close it out. I mean, if someone was to put a generic Call of Duty Mobile esports map set into your mind, this is the one that comes out of my brain.
Yeah, no standoff in there. You wouldn't put a standoff in the map set.
Well, potentially, but I think for me, when it comes down, I'm not saying this is what I would necessarily like say is my favorite,
but this is like
this is what we see more often. Yeah,
that's fair.
The standoff would be my favorite, 100%. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Crossfire personally. I don't know. I mean, yes, I am. I throw back to my youth, Brody. It was a long time ago.
Is that like, you know, I didn't know Call of Duty was out in like the 1970s. Man.
Right. Okay. Now, come on. Now, that's But at the same time, like, it's just gonna be nice. This is the one thing I actually love about mobile, though, is that you get to see all these old maps come back.
Yeah.
And Crossfire, how's Crossfire Control gonna work? I don't even compute that in my brain. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Control wasn't even out when Crossfire was released, mate. This is I sound so old. Shut me up, please, for the love of God.
Actually, that is one of the fun things, right? It's like you do have control, like even on Hardpoint, right? Because like Hardpoint only got introduced in like Black Ops 2, right? So there's like a plethora of maps in Call of Duty Mobile that were existed before Black Ops 2 existed. It's always fun to see Hardpoint coming on those maps. Like that is the fun part about Call of Duty Mobile, is the fact that you do get game modes where maps did not exist on those game modes before, and they just somehow work perfectly.
Listen, just giving everybody a little bit of a COD history lesson, going down memory lane. Competitive COD, it's fine. It's fine. It's all playing into our new storyline for these maps here for COD Mobile and for Match 4. Because, like you said, even Proper said it before he left. He was bummed he didn't get to see a firing range to kick off the first day of our open finals. We're closing it out with a firing range. So let's dive into Match 4 and see how our squads do.
Well, here we go again, Brody. Let's see how this one's going to go down. We're not expecting maybe as close of a game as what we've seen previously, but at the same time, we kind of got surprised by the last game in a certain kind of way. After the first two maps, we thought that one was going to be done and dusted. It ended up being the way we thought it was going to go after those first two maps, but at the same time, we had some pleasant surprises. So I'm hoping we kind of get the same here to close out the night. RHH, though, absolutely the favorites here.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. Again, right, this is a roster that has qualified previously, and that's not to say they will again. Even after this, they've still got another match before actually qualifying for a challenge season, so still a ways to go, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, this is a roster that I think has qualified. I want to say they were in both seasons. Like, my brain might be betraying me here. Yeah, I think they were in both seasons. And so, like, for them to not qualify again, especially with arguably an improved roster coming into this season, I think would be a disappointment. So we'll see. And on the other side, again, it's one of those questions. It's like, look, there are names here where, you could go into Liquipedia and you could, like, see, all right, cool, so what have these guys done? And you'll recognize a couple of the names from some, like, European tournaments, right? But, like, nothing of note in SPS. So this is really their debut to show us what they have for us. Whether or not they can pull off a massive sort of David versus Goliath victory, who knows? Honestly, it's going to be difficult. But I will say, at least you're going up against a roster like RHH and not like a roster like Queens or Animus, right? Yeah. I mean, that is like, why would we bother loading in? This is like, hey, you can actually do something. Yeah.
Let's see if they can do something. It's at the tried and tested Hacienda Hardpoint that we will be kicking things off here in this series. I mean, if you don't know how to play this by now, I feel like I could rotate on this map with my eyes closed, and I'm not even a good player by any stretch of the imagination. Long are those days gone, Brody. Long are those days gone. Yeah, they were a long time ago. Did they ever even exist for you? I don't even know what to tell you.
I am a Crimson player on Black Ops 6 rank play. I'll have you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's not quite iridescent, but I'm actually pretty good at the game, I would say.
All right, okay.
Yeah. I can't hear you all the way down from bronze, mate. Sorry. Anyway.
Well, it's okay. We can throw these shots all day. We can throw them.
We've got a long day, mate. We still got NA later on today. It's going to be a fun one.
We should probably keep some in the back pocket against each other, as we'll maybe get a little bit boring. You're in danger of doing that already, but anyway, here we are. Restart. Actually get a couple of kills on the board to kick things off for RHH. It's about this rotation over towards P2, but I mean, if you look at Illumis, I hope he's playing. And if he is, then hey, we are deep anchoring that P2 spawn.
that is 360. No, okay. No, listen. I will say, to be fair, what I was cobbing for earlier on was teams anchoring this back spawn. I think Illumis has taken my feedback to heart, because he's rotated 35 seconds early for PT rotation and still hasn't anchored those spawns in. They're still spawning by fences.
And I do believe the team names at the top are the wrong way around at this moment.
Yes,
in time. So RHH currently in the lead. Not necessarily the most convincing, but they have the P2 rotation. Loomis still hasn't had an interaction. I believe using the sniper. Yep, Sushi not necessarily the best either. But still, for those players pushing over towards from this car park side, well, you have a Loomis to thank. Is he playing?
I genuinely don't. Loomis is anchoring. My guy is like taking it back to Black Ops 2 anchor days. Like he is anchoring. He is not moving right now. He's also got a sniper rifle out, so I feel like if he is anchoring, he could probably take some pop shots, but we would see that on a minimap, and he's not. So I really do not know. Right now, it's kind of leading this situation where you've got restart constantly in a 4 versus 5 on every single hit, and that's just not helping the situation at all. You've got players like Rushes and Sushi popping off early on in this game. RHH are in full control. And I've got a feeling at this point Alumis is not playing, because there's no way he'd be anchoring for spawns for a hill like this.
Destroy enemies, hunter killer.
I mean, it kind of semi-worked.
Hardpoint.
I mean, they didn't execute. The idea was that RHH still in the lead quite convincingly here. We will get those graphics changed. Just as I say it, there you go. Get that one sorted out. But as you can see, RHH in complete control here as we go head over towards P3. Alumis is actually connected. Let's see if we can lock in now. And if we restart, we can, well, start doing something. For the love of God, please. Sushi. Gravity Vortex gun is out on this side of things, just zoning off control when he can. 30 seconds to go here over towards P3. Restart not really getting going yet.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, for restart at the moment, there are positives to this situation, which is that this is not the biggest scoreline differential we've seen in Hardpoint today. So, you know, restart, doing pretty well with 19 seconds on the board. They're also actually got the scrap time away from RHH. Starriker will still be looking towards ult for some kind of contest, but there's no real reason to invest anything into that. You can just bring the Predator missile down towards Nu. Kai's going to have to run away here while RHH get the first touch on Nu. And this is that snowball effect that we so often talk about in Call of Duty Mobile, right? Where it's just like, if you're a roster that garners such a massive advantage early on into any game, you've got so much to work with moving forward into kind of the mid-game, where it's like, if things just go from bad to worse, and that's what's happening right now. AME is just piecing with the equalizers.
Looking solid so far for RHH. Haven't seen the Lumis get on the board, and I think might have had a couple of issues trying to connect. Would it have made much of a difference at this stage though, Brody? I'm not too sure with the way that RHH are moving right now. Pumpfig, the only one really sitting in the single digits at this moment in time. Everybody from RHH very much doing their job. Every single time that the operator's available, they get invested. Cashew trying to go around the outside of the map. Will be able to find a kill. Is that going to open up things for restart to try and get through? Answer, well, it's very much there in front of you. Not able to find the kills. Pumpfig, though, will get taken down. Potential opportunity for restart to get a couple of points on the board.
We've taken the lead. Friendly hunter killer drone.
And it's just a couple of points, though, at this point, right? I mean, you get scrap time. You're not actually going to get much of anything whatsoever off it. We move over towards Nu, and it's the exact same situation. It does have to be said, again, like, I really don't want to riff on restart too much here, because they are effectively playing, I mean, not even effectively, they are playing a 4 versus 5, right? So I do somewhat feel for them in this situation. We aren't seeing them at their full force. You're seeing moments of potential from restart. We saw a two-piece there from Gibbo where they're going to do something. Kai's now going to bring out the War Machine and just pre-firing at downrange. Able to pick up 3 kills, I believe that is, with the said War Machine. But again, just constantly outnumbered in these situations. RHH back into the hard point. Restart spawning on the side of the map that is not favorable in this scenario. RHS, I mean, they can just see the clear way to win this game.
Nice and steady away, isn't it? Rushes will eventually get taken down. Starriker was impressive in his time. You know, as we were going through the rosters today, just to go through the teams that we were looking at, Starriker was a name that it always filled me with the sense of that this guy's going to do something. He's going to be able to do something with the AR. Always a bit more of a slow player, but always bring something to the table. Illum is still trying to connect, bless him. Tough scenes out there for restart at the moment. RHH running away with this one, and restart not really doing a great deal at the moment, Brody.
Yeah, it's so difficult, and now they're getting spawn trapped in the backline as well. Spawn player actually somehow 4X manages to get that kill. 4RX, I don't know how you pronounce that. 4RX manages to get that kill versus Starriker and gives them the chance, but Starriker fires right back for a couple of kills. Wayward spawns will continue as well. Players spawning in the backline around the front. Those players that hit are getting dealt with swiftly by Sushi. RHH, while they won't be able to finish things here, mathematically they will be needing to go to the next hard point to close out this game, but it does at this point feel like a foregone conclusion. I'm seeing like Illumis like make small movements on the map. Like I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like a stealth video game to him or something. But yeah, it's kind of funny just to see him like slowly but surely make some kind of move.
250 will be locked in for RHH. Kind of as expected to a certain degree, but you know, it's one of those moments where you want to see maybe a little bit more from Restart. But yeah, we never really got things going from their side of things, albeit 4v5 throughout the majority of it. Yeah. Not necessarily the ideal position to be in, but yeah, that is a map number 1 win for RHH, who kind of just glide through Hacienda Hardpoint.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, it's one of those situations which is like, analytically speaking, how do you break down a game like that, where it's just like, you are in a 5 versus 4 the entire time. I will say, like, it is hilarious, by the way, that at the start of that game, we genuinely were of the belief that Illumis was trying to anchor spawns for P2, and I was genuinely happy for a moment. I was like, hey, a player's trying to do something different for once, to rotate towards P2, because putting a player towards that back statue is kind of integral, right, to get control. It's very difficult to rip somebody off that back heady, but as the game progressed, it became very clear that Illumis was not playing, and again, you can't really break it down. You know, if you're in a 4 versus 5, you kind of need at least 2 or 3 of your players to be absolute shredders. Like, you kind of need like 2 tectonics on your team, and that is just not happening for Restart. They get ripped asunder, and you know, it's unfortunate. I can't take anything away from that game, really, for either side. Like, it's nice to see good performance out of the likes of Rushes and Sushi, but now they need to do it 5 versus 5.
Let's see if we can get Illumis into this one. I mean, if the consolidation is, he was the one who died the least in the entire game, so good job on that front, I suppose. But not able to get his team over the line with that stat line. I wonder why. But we will be jumping into the Search and Destroy coming up next, and is this a potential now for Restart to maybe get something going? There's far too many easy ones for me to fall into here with a Restart or whatever like that, but we'll try and avoid them as long as we possibly can. Firing Range coming up, Brody. I mean, I know it's hard to say based on what we've seen here, but is Firing Range a map you can really bully your way into after a somewhat humiliating loss like that in map number 1?
I would say I think Fire Range Search and Destroy is one of those maps that is actually very easy to throw teams off from like the regular way to play it, right? We've seen it from teams in the past where it's just like, you know, the substandard setup on a map like Fire Range for either defense or offense really is just try and win your opening snipes and really have an eye on those kind of open lanes towards the A site, and then of course through the middle of the map as well. And if you play aggressive as the team here that's definitely the underdog in the situation and kind of just make the opposition, make RHS unsettled on those defensive positions or those sniper positions, and yeah, there is a way to play this one and kind of throw things off a little bit. We've seen that time and time again. We've also seen like really weird strats, like smokes off the start of the round through the middle of the map and just rushing through mid to the back line. There are a plethora of ways to play Firing Range, which is actually kind of funny considering how standard of map this actually is. I just don't know whether we'll actually see any of that from Restart whatsoever.
Yeah, we have seen teams play it very, very differently. I suppose you are right in that sense. You can play it slow on both sides of things. You can be aggressive over both sides of the map as far as attack goes. There's actually quite surprising considering how small the map is and how big it actually feels for being a small map. That's kind of makes sense in my brain. I don't know if it does in yours, but it's one of those that can be a little bit different in the way that teams play it. So yeah, we'll see if Restart can get something going here in the Search and Destroy. We didn't really get to see anything from them there in the hard point, but well, sometimes Search and Destroy can... I mean, what was the saying? It used to be back in the day, Search and Destroy wins championships, but I think that kind of got proven wrong, right? I think it's actually hard points that win championships, but does Search and Destroy win you a lower bracket game here in the Open Finals in Europe in the Snapdragon Pro Series? Well, let's find out.
Oh boy, the real question for me is this going to be a 5 versus 5? I want to know what's happening with Illumis. What's he up to right now? Getting like a foot massage or something like that while playing Call of Duty Mobile. He's getting distracted, bless him. I made that up. I have no idea what he's actually doing, but I just want to see some 5 versus 5 action. I want to see some close Call of Duty Mobile to end the first day of European Season 6 for the Open Finals. And there's 5 players moving for RHH. That's not a surprise. There's 4 players moving for Restart.
He's anchoring.
He's anchoring spawns in S&D.
Yeah, he's anchoring spawns. I wanted to make a joke about your foot massage there, but I think we'll avoid it for now. It's early. Definitely not past the watershed in the US. Maybe later. We'll see. Into the search and destroy we go. Sushi will be the first to fall, though. Ezzy loves Whittles. We want to find the kill. AOME will be able to answer back, though. The shot's not quite landing. Momentarily a 4 versus 4, although technically a 4 versus 3 for RHH.
Oh, AOME's actually going to get shut down. That is a big kill from Kai. Problem being, doesn't really have much help. This is a crossbow from Rushes. Please don't. Please don't. This guy might have a family. Rushes is certainly not going to be one to press it, and Kai will take them down. No humiliation today. Restart should be able to get that bomb down now. For RHH, I was going to say there's a chance to get him back to the site, but Starricker kind of just runs straight out of the open. Now pump fake for a 1v4.
Well, I think that will be the end of the trolling from RHH. I don't think we'll see too many crossbows coming out in the next round, as Restart will find themselves around, technically, in a 4 versus 5.
Defend the objective.
Continuing on the attack for Restart, but yeah, just the picks that they were able to find. First blood goes their way as well. And they managed to have that same success in this next round. Sushi setting up over towards this B side. Nade on its way out. We'll probably find a check. Time is ticking. Sushi still holding this down, but does seem as if Restart's eyes are firmly over towards B.
And a lot of these set nades, these kind of set utility that Restart are throwing over the top are just not connecting, right? And when you don't even really get any information beyond, oh, that didn't connect there, so there's not a player, it's difficult to actually do anything whatsoever, even more so now. Lost a player. Fortunate news for Restart, it's the one player that you probably can afford to lose, so it doesn't really matter too much. RHH aren't going to get any utility off the back of that. Starricker gets another kill versus Whittles. Now, Restart. Final 3 players. Rushes is in a position to pop off with the crossbow. God, I'm getting close to vibes right now.
There we go. That's the first one with the crossbow. Expecting the flank to come through from the B side. Not going to be able to find it as the player is taken down, and RHH will get their first round on the board here in the search and destroy. Not going to make easy work of this one if they can. Although Rushes is not necessarily part of that with the crossbow out, but
They have the bomb.
just some information that we will cross over. Restart wanting to play 4v5. Illuma's clearly busy. Restart happy to continue where they are with Illuma's pretty much anchoring the spawn, as mentioned, Brody, but I've actually forced them away here a little bit. Starricker will have fallen. Rushes it now. Inside of Tin, trying to survive. Pumpig will find a kill until the site, though, so things a little bit more even now, but Restart again in a decent enough position on the attacking side.
Yeah, the problem with the car on the site right now, right, is that you've got a couple of different things to worry about. You need to get control of the shack in front of you, but you also need to be careful about American. Kai is keeping an eye on Rushes. Why are you not checking that? You're checking for the top side. There's a trade coming through, so the latter of the concerns for Kai ends up biting him in the bum. And it still effectively is a 2 versus 3 for Restart. Now a 2 versus 2 as Gibbo takes down Pump Fate. Bomb now planted. Sushi has to be careful about the player to his right. And also, I really want to see these guys play as a team. Stop being individual. There we go. First kill from Sushi. Whittle's now just laying down. I don't know if he's like a weeping angel or not. I don't know what's going on.
On tight. Bit of an off angle, though. Can Sushi see him? No, he can't. First gunfight's going to go his way. Sushi will back on down as well with the reload. Essentially expecting a flank here. Not going to happen. Ezzy will find the kill, and well, Restart not looking too bad here in the search and destroy. And bearing in mind here, Brody, they are pretty much in a 4 versus 5. They might have Illumis on the map, but they are getting the job done irrelevant. RHH, well, you need to step this up here.
What was Sushi looking there? No, 1 versus 2. Like, well, he knows the other player is Illumis, right? Like, there's no other player to be worried about in that situation. Obviously didn't. Just in the moment kind of forgot that there's a player that's not playing at this point in the game. But Restart, once again, same kind of looks here off the start of this offense. Utility over at the top. Not a lot of it actually connecting. That trophy system slap bang in the middle of the B site probably doesn't help the situation. Take just one of these players down. You got to imagine this flood from Restart is going to be quick.
Starricker trying to hold this down. A lot of pressure coming in. He should be dead to rights if he can find anything before he drops. This is an absolute bonus, but just slowing them down enough time now for the rest of the team to come on over. Can he find the second? Just about. 3 versus 1 technically now as Kaishu does have Illumis for company, but we know not playing at the moment. So technical 1 versus 3 for Kaishu to try and pull off.
Last man standing. Finish
I think I'm gonna be Kai Shao, right? Just trying to think like
Kaishu?
pronunciation. Kai Shao?
Well, you could be right. But sometimes the English language does not make sense.
Yeah, this is the most British pronunciations right now.
Yeah.
Coming out of us. AAB will close out that round, mate. And RHH will stabilize. Again, I got to give Restart some credit here, Tom, because, you know, despite the fact that they're on the offense, right, they are making a 4 versus 5 competitive versus RHH, which I think does demand some credit for the way they're playing this. What is this?
Yeah. Well, some of us are playing. Anyway. Not everyone, though. If anything, I would be baiting out the fact that Illuma isn't playing. Because RHH are well aware of this by now. I'd be sitting defending them. Say, oh, they're going to come for the free kill. And that's exactly what Sushi is kind of trying to do here. And he may well get caught off guard in a second. See, the A side of the map's pretty much locked down here by RHH. But B is a little bit more open than maybe they would like.
I think that might actually be the play call, right, for Restart. They're just trying to bait out some kind of aggression from RHH. Of course, again, RHH don't need to do anything here, right? They just need to sit and wait for the opportunity to come their way, and absolutely will come knocking. Oh, but the Sushi doesn't get that kill! Gibbo turns and burns onto him! The Sushi's been cooked this time. And now RHH do not have control of anything whatsoever. Restart can get this bomb down. Just please don't do anything silly.
Illuminus has been taken down. Now an official 3 versus 2. They did have control of the site. They choose not to use it. Ridiculous gunfire win. I think it was Old Man Gibbo who found it. Aoman is just going to get terrible, terrible timing as well. And Gibbo will find the kill. And now it's the transition over towards A. They don't have a lot of time. Starricker is going to get there. We would like to think. Watching the cross on one side, expecting the players to be still pushing through the side of wood. But now all of a sudden, Old Man Gibbo is pushing up. Can he find another? That's his 3rd of the round. Starricker's got it all to do. Finds one. Oh, it's just too easy. Oh!
But it's not over yet. Ready up.
No way.
It's so big, brain. Yeah, all right, you win the gunfight against me, but the Hunter Killer drone is out and you are dead, mate. Gibbo going absolutely massive for Restart right now. 8 kills to his name. 3-2 up Restart. S&D team, apparently.
I can't believe what we just see. That was Gibbo's round fully. That Hunter Killer drone will be the thing that closes it out, but that's a hell of a round from Restart. Now, we start looking for a way to continue in their last offensive effort. It's trades galore. 4 versus 4, or again, if he's speaking 4 versus 3. Whittles is still doing the thing inside the defensive spawn, by the way. About to catch Sushi off guard and does exactly that. Surely they'd be kind of wise to it at this point, considering Easy Loves Whittles has been doing the exact same thing round after round.
I can't believe that. It's so close. I can't believe Restart are winning. They are actually in a 4 versus 5, and they're somehow pulling it out the fire. Yes, he's now found a kill on the rushes, and is left in a technical 1 versus 1 against Pump Fake. Pump Fake would have heard that. Yep. There you go. We'll find the kill. Illumis, if there's any time for you to come back, it's right about now, but how hilarious would it be?
It's just like if he... Whoa! Could you imagine if he started moving?
Imagine.
Could you imagine if Illumis was like, hey, just pops him in the face with a sniper rifle? That would have been insane, but no, not going to happen. RHH able to take the round, tie things up 3 apiece here as they are now the ones on the offense. And again, the fact that Restart are a man down thing is going to weaken things out on the defense. RHH could effectively just full hit the bomb with aggression. They're going to get in towards the trailer with rushes with the R9. The smoke obscuring things though. Kaishu looking for the kill, and rushes will take them down. And this is what I was saying, right? You've got the numbers. You can effectively just get control of the site, brute force your way through and get that rock down.
Bomb has been planted.
This now might be a little easier for RHS to force the issue with that number advantage that they do have. Good shots from Starricker. MG42 out in what is probably for me still the best skin ever made on a Call of Duty game.
Get ready for the next round.
We'll find it 4-3 up now. RHH starting to turn the screw, you feel?
Defend the objective. The enemy has the bomb.
Yeah, again, it's just the fact that they've got the numbers, right? I mean, they have the numbers to make these aggressive pushes work. I mean, look at the minimap right now. You've got one player, four RXs, all alone on A. As soon as they go down, I mean, yeah, they'll win the first gunfight. There should be an immediate trade, and there is. And now RHH, by virtue of the fact that Restart on the defense are spread so thin, basically have full site control. I like this reaction from Kai Shao, but it's whether or not Kai can actually find any value is the next question, and they just don't. There's nothing there.
Gibbo will find himself a kill though. This bomb may be down a B, but not an impossible retake. Gibbo and Ezzy. Ezzy finds a kill here. Oh, Pump Fake's going to push that. Pump Fake should be dead here. This aggressive does get out. Shots are in though, and just surviving. On the other side though, oh, Aomin's giving it up. Gibbo's right there. Has he played a bind there? No, he hasn't. Aomin will find one. Will spin around. Gibbo's inside the site, and you just haven't called it because you didn't see it. One player now pushing back. Pump Fake in a little bit of trouble. 12 seconds to go. Needs to survive.
Again, Pump Fake will win the fight, but will not get the defuse through. That is so unfortunate there for Pump Fake. Did not find that player. Gibbo manages to play that one to perfection, and Gibbo really has been the shining light for Restart in this search and destroy. A bomb goes down, and it will end up going in RHS's favor. I don't know. My brain is
trying to attack. You know what? I've done that before. If you remember rightly, that's okay. We're one for one now. That's fine. Sushi will find the first kill.
I might still befuddle me for some reason.
RHH were attacking. They planted the bomb.
The bomb has been planted.
Didn't you just get the kill versus Gibbo? Am I actually losing it?
No, Gibbo didn't kill him. Anyway, irrelevant. The bomb's down again. I think you are losing it.
I will have a conversation about that in the break. I need someone to explain what I've just seen. I don't know what's happening.
You're just wrong.
That's fair.
Trying to do something, not going to happen. Starricker will make it 6.
Next round.
It's still early. We've got an NA show after this, bro. We need a lock in. RHH now starting to walk away with this one a little bit.
God.
Defend the objective.
One more round, mate. One more round. RHH, get it done. Again, it's the same conversation, right? It's like Restart are still doing this. Gibbo is still doing something. Gibbo and Easy loves Whittles. I don't know if it's Whittles or Easy. I have no idea.
How does Gibbo find the first kill?
I just don't know. I genuinely do not know. I mean, you can see what those players have died, right? So he's definitely winning the gunfights down long range.
Super aggressive, very, very quickly, right?
I think he got the first kill for the middle of the map, and then the second one down A site. I think is what happened. Now, though, we're seeing a different change of tact here for RHH, right? Transition towards the B site. Restart. Now stuck. Waiting for a re-entry. It's difficult to pull off. Looks like they've got strength in numbers right now. Sushi distracted by the one player that's not playing, and now it's all down to Gibbo.
Well, he has been the shining light here in the search and destroy for Restart.
The bomb has been planted.
You'd imagine that this is, well, a clutch too far for Gibbo. 12 kills to his name through the 9 rounds we've had is an impressive feat. Koshka out. That's a throwback. Still an opportunity to do something here. The first pick is so important. Oh, he just gets done by the slide. Will get out. Goes for the reach out. Gibbo is absolutely cracked out of his mind. No wonder he's been finding kills. This is absurd. There you go. There's the first. Sushi will fall. Pump Fake's on his way over. Is he going to be ready for rushes in this position? No. Slight off angle behind the box. No info for rushes here. But no info for Gibbo. And that will be the search and destroy going the way of RHH. Solidified with a nice kill from Pumpfake. 2-0 to RHH now in this series. What was it? Maybe a little bit more of a drawn-out S&D than we possibly expected. Irrelevant. It kind of goes the way we did expect RHH to look at.
Yeah, again, it is difficult, and I think you saw that there in the latter half of that search and destroy. It's like, yeah, restart on the offense. I mean, they can be as aggressive as they like because they can just stick as a foursome. Or just play around the player that's not playing, as we saw from Easy for a few kills there in those first 6 rounds. But yeah, I mean, like, on the offense, it's kind of easy to stick as a pack and play as a team. On the defense, you do have to spread yourselves a lot more thin to cover all of the ground available on fire and range defense. And that, I think, is when things kind of went awry, because it's just like you don't have the numbers to accurately do anything. Yeah, so as soon as that happened, I think that was where the kind of the tides changed, as it were. That's when we started to see RHH take control of the game, as they should. If they lose a 5 versus 4, I would definitely have uninstalled the game.
Yeah, that would have been tough for RHH to possibly come back from. And now we're going to be heading over towards a control, which, well, if it goes the way things have been going, this one will be over pretty quickly.
Okay, so this is my question. All right, I knew I wasn't losing it. Okay, so Pumpfake had the bomb down, right?
Right.
He gets the kill versus Gibbo. He kills Gibbo. Why does the round not end as soon as he kills Gibbo?
But he killed him?
He killed him. He gets the kill versus Gibbo. The round doesn't end. The bomb blows up. That was my confusion. That was like, oh, the bomb's blown up. And I was like, oh, but the last remaining player didn't defuse the bomb. I was like, no, but the last remaining player was the one that planted the bomb. I am so confused. There was another thing as well. I DM'd you about it. Anyway, RHH win that game of Search and Destroy. Amin finishes things up on top of the scoreboard with 12 kills to his name. Again, there's only so much that we can take away from that statistically because it was a 5 versus 4. I do feel it feels kind of horrible just from like Bo's perspective, not for restart to play a 4 versus 5, right? Because it's just like that's an awkward thing to do. And then for RHH, because it's like legitimately you probably could win this game 5 versus 5, but there's no way to prove that because you are in the situation where we're in a 5 versus 4. So any like good performances that you have, add an asterisk to that because you're in a 5 versus 4, right? So like I want to see this RHH roster in an actual competitive situation where they are in a 5 versus 5. I want to see it here. I just want to see Loomis come and actually play the game. They've also got like a 6th player on the roster. Why not bring like Zeta into the game? That's what I want to see. You know?
Well, yeah. That would kind of be the thing that makes sense. But, well, irrelevant. We are kind of here with it. We kind of did think RHH were favourites coming into this. They were favourites coming into this, and they are 2-0 up. So now we have a raid control that, well, if raid controls today are anything to go by, this one could be over, well, before I could even go downstairs and make myself a cup, I mean. So let's see if this one is going to go the way we expect. I mean, are we going to see an actual 5 versus 5? We'll find out very, very shortly. But yeah, for RHH, this is... would they want to be tested maybe a little bit more? They do have another game to win. Of course, if they do win this, there is still potentially 3 maps to go. But based on what we've seen, I'd be very surprised if we extend past 3. But for them, would they have wanted a bit more of a challenge heading into what will be a tough game for them to get through on the final day? I think Sunday is when we're going to be going into the losers bracket side of things. So let's see. I think they probably would have expected or maybe wanted a little bit more of a competitive game to get the juices flowing, so to speak.
Yeah, I think you definitely do, right? Because it's just like you don't want to be going into these matches cold, right? You're going to anyway, right? That's the nature of the way that these kind of tournaments are set up. That's the nature of the way that Europe is set up, I think, in particular, right? It's the fact that you play a game, then you've got to wait to the next day. For these guys, I think, as a matter of fact, next games tomorrow are all upper bracket qualification matchups, so they actually don't play tomorrow whatsoever. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you probably would prefer to just go straight into your next game and be warm and kind of be practiced. But no, I think things will be more interesting when you go to that final day for RHH if they qualify here. They will be going in cold just as their opposition will in that final day. So yeah, things a little bit weird. I'm trying to look at the bracket to see who they actually would end up playing.
I don't know how the drop down works.
But it actually says on the Faceit site who they would drop down and face. It does. Faceit's great. I love it for this purpose. But okay. I think it's the loser of upper bracket 58, which is, I'll tell you right now, it is.
Give it to me.
Severity or Cantic. That's tough. That's a really tough one to face either Severity or Cantic. Again, I know that's totally accurate because you had a few inaccuracies with it today. But if you're facing either Severity or Cantic for qualification, I would not want to be playing either of those two teams because I've seen both of them and they're actually pretty good. So that's one of those kind of rough luck of the draw situations. But hey, who knows how that's going to go, man. RHH, they've got into 2 seasons of SPS, so they get through this, they could probably do it again.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of how the bracket has worked out. As you mentioned, we kind of went with the random seed when we had 128 teams. That's resulted, I mean, you see an exclusive down in the losers bracket, right? I mean, that was something that caught me off guard immediately as far as what my expectations kind of had. Like, let's see, you know, they are a team who are going to be in that losers bracket. They're going to come up against somebody decent, I would imagine. And then that team who were thinking they would get through and be, you know, a team that can go into the mix in the challenge season are then going to be going up against one of the favorites for the challenge season, presuming that they do make it. It's a strange one. It's unfortunate for some of these teams who are just well, don't get bracket blessed, and that is a tough situation to be in. We should be loading into map number 3 imminently. We will be jumping in as soon as we can. I wonder if we'll maybe waiting for that 5th player to jump in for the side of restart. But yeah, RHH still in command here, but still have a long road to go to make it. Just to remind you, we do still have 2 more days of competition here in Europe coming up tomorrow and on Sunday, so make sure to join us for that. But this is the final game of Friday, and even better for you guys, in a couple hours time we're jumping over towards the other side of the pond. Me and Brody, our eyes will be no doubt just red by the time it'll be a late one for us, boys. You know, that is exactly what caffeine was invented for, so we'll be getting ourselves invested and getting in amongst it, and we are very excited to see how the NA side of things goes down. But NA is not stretched over 3 days. We have 4 games in NA to decide so much very, very quickly, so interested to see how that's going to go.
We're blitzing through NA. Like, we're running straight through all of NA in one night. It's going to be a really fun time. It's going to be even more fun time. I'm gonna do a spoiler because we're waiting right now. I'm gonna give you guys a little surprise ahead of time. We might have an opportunity at some point today to cast Bobby Bucket's Dino Nuggets. And
I mean, that is my dream.
I could not wait. When I saw that Bobby had made it this far into the North American bracket, I was so happy. That might have been one of the happiest moments of casting Call of Duty Mobile for me, because I want to see it so badly. It's so fun. It's such a fun team as well. It's like Space and Error for also playing on the roster. It's just like, you could not ask for a better team. So if they beat Coldest, we might have them. So that's a fun time for an NA, but for EU right now, not so fun time, Stan.
Well, I've just had it in my ear, and we'll get a little bit more clarification very, very shortly, that Restart have been forfeited. So, Lauren, I'm sure you'll be able to fill us in a little bit on exactly what's going on, but the game is done. RHH are through.
I can confirm you did hear that correctly. Restart have decided that it was just a little bit too much of an uphill battle with a 4v5, and that they didn't want to have to keep fighting that extra little bit, so they forfeited map or they're under already. I mean, 45 in any situation is. So in the end, it's RHH to stay alive for another year.
Yeah, and again, like I did say it multiple times through that game, right? There were so many questions of like, what if they played this 5 versus 5? And I want to say that especially in the Search and Destroy, because I think it was what both Gibbo and Easy. Again, I don't know if it's Easy or Easy Loves Waddles. I have no idea what the pronunciation of that name is, but either way, those players were actually doing things. Like, they're proficiently playing in Search and Destroy. They both hit double-digit kills. So you got to give a shout out to Restart for actually playing that game 4 versus 5 in any competitive manner whatsoever. But it does leave us in a situation where they do end up losing to RHH. RHH go through, and I would say, just like looking at this bracket on the whole here, like this is actually a pretty good selection of teams moving forward to the final day of games, right? Vanquish, Exclusive, RHH, and Hexad, all very competitive teams in Europe. I mean, especially Exclusive, but all of them are pretty competitive. So I'm pretty happy with all the teams that made it through.
Yeah, so that's the day one. I mean, you guys were talking about it. We have 3 days of EU. This is just day 1. So now where do we go from here? Well, obviously, we haven't even touched on that upper bracket. That's what everybody that just won today, they will now be waiting to see who they're facing off against from the matchups that we have in our upper bracket. The teams that do win tomorrow for their upper bracket matches will move on into the challenge season, and anyone that gets knocked down or they lose, they get knocked down into that lower bracket, have one more opportunity to try to stay alive. And I know we're definitely all going to be keeping our eyes on that Animus versus Queens matchup. Ton, we talked about that Queen storyline in the beginning. They're the reason that Exclusive are in that lower bracket right now. So that's going to be a great way to close everything out.
Yeah, that's a big old game just for an open final, especially as well. That's going to be a potential real big matchup that we're going to be looking at as the season goes on. Presumably, if both teams do make it, I'd be especially surprised if they don't. But that is a massive, massive matchup. That's going to give us a little bit of a peek into what is going to be happening in the challenge season, you would like to think.
All right, Birdie, before we say goodbye, any final thoughts here after that first day?
Europe's actually got some pretty good teams. That's what I'll say. You know, coming back to the whole big story that we're always going to be talking about. I'm sorry, Europe, you've been trashed the last couple of seasons. Looking over towards champs, you need to do better. It's nice to see that the competitive pool of players is still competitive, right? We've got a lot of competitive teams. I'm hoping that continues.
Absolutely. Well, it was a great way to kick off the season today. Either way, with our teams fighting to stay alive in our lower bracket. And just like we saw, we still have so much more action to come. Of course, a huge thank you to Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL for making this whole thing possible. It's time for us to say goodbye for now. But like you heard the boys saying, if you didn't get enough Call of Duty Mobile action yet in your day, we have our North American Open Finals happening in just a couple hours. We'll see you then.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
cutie, dressed up and I'm glistening. I'm the gift, don't wrap me like it's Christmas. Want some yours, you'll know what you've been missing. Feeling like we should get into mischief. Listen, you've been looking like you're down on your luck. Need a girl like me to come through, lift you up. Hold me in your hand, I like when you touch me. Keep me around or you might get lucky. I'ma keep you with the good mood. Keep you up all night. Never, never around you. Baby, this is so vibe. Got me dancing like a soul train. Laughing the whole time. Got me singing in the shower. Baby, are you all mine? Baby, I'm your four-leaf clover. Your rabbit's foot, your charm bracelet, horseshoe. Baby, I'm your good, good omen. You wanna keep me with you. Keep me with you. Yeah, it's not hard to see. There's a pattern forming when you got me. 777 all wins, big money. The tramp over here never see me coming. I was in your back pocket the whole time. A quiet power, a silent gold mine, a big old confidence boost. You never delude. Just know that you'll be winning cause I'm with you in the building. I'ma keep you with the good mood. Keep you up all night.